It's okay. Off your mind, it's okay. She off your mind, like me.
Chai! Now wow, people wey suppose talk through to power don't off mic. And if we talk, now 500,000 they go summer us, call them hate speech. But fear not, Maiyegun don't come. Ingo touchlight every corner, nooks and cranny of all these bad people where they spoil our country. So my people make we laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. And in the touchlight every corner, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Okay, some people be they holla say they want the power. Chai, them be promise us say we go get light and power. Nah. Them hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar just they get the higher power over naira. See them talk say make we off mind, but thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This one not the off in mind, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Maiyegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Maiyegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say make we no talk. But thank God say Maiyegun don't come. So my people make you laugh, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, man of the masses, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun diary Politico, oh, yo, yo. Maiyegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This man not the off in mind, oh, yo. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò.
Hello there.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀, làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun ti dé o, ọ̀rẹ́ ará ìlú.
Congratulations, Arewa. My Arewa followers, my northern disciple members or brethren of the Temple of Truth. Even though if you like or you don't like me, I will still wish you a congratulations. Thank you very much. Share this broadcast and to you. Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. And this is Maiyegun live. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. I could see that Facebook have started their Oribrukus. They will never stop. Here you get. The bottom line is this. If you are watching me on Facebook right now, I advise that you should join us on YouTube. It is a little bit safer there, and you can share and even comment, not like on Facebook. So at some point, I am going to disconnect the Facebook Live on MaiyegunsDiary Politico, as well as on Badero Lushola. So if you're watching me right now on either of them, get yourself down to MaiyegunsDiary Politico on YouTube. I actually have a news for you if you're joining us there tonight. Congratulations is what we are going to use to start this broadcast tonight. And at the same time, it is also going to be a segment where I am going to take you, along a short history class. I mean, I never thought of that, but yeah, I'll give it that title. A short history of Nigeria oil war. The oil war that kickstarted, the oil war that will start later, which stopped the first armed terrorists who carried out what they called a revenge coup in 1966, when these young northern soldiers struck and unleashed mayhem that ended the First Republic and finally, forced this one Nigeria on all of us. When they overthrew Ironsi and killed all the Igbo leaders they could see and kill, what did they do? They returned back to the north and decided they were breaking away from Nigeria. Oil changed their mind. When Biafrans said they were leaving Nigeria, they were done. We are going to have our own country. Biafra, Ojukwu, Gowon, they met in Aburi in Ghana, discussed all the gray areas of how Biafra would have to become autonomous region before they become a country, something that gives them total control over Biafra, giving Biafra land back to the Biafrans. Then Gowon agreed. They signed. They shared the cake. They shared drink. Everyone was happy. There would be no war. When Gowon got back to Nigeria, and they reminded him why northern Nigeria is still part of Nigeria today. Why? Because of the oil. If Biafra goes, they will take the oil. What will be our own fate? What will be our future? Now that we know what we could become, now that we have the power to decide, to do and undo. So when Gowon met with them, he tore the agreements and started and prepared Nigeria for war against the eastern part of Nigeria. He tore the gentleman's agreement that could have prevented the death of over 6 million people in a space of 30 months or so, or 3 years rather, because of oil. Yeah? And immediately they managed, and mind you, when the war started, Biafra and the people of Biafra, they were on the best advantageous side position. Why? Because of the oil. There were countries who actually showed so much interest in supporting Biafra and doing all of that because of the oil. But do you know how the whole thing changed? Yes, the oil was there. Nigeria was no longer controlling the oil. Biafra owns the oil. But how do you get the oil out of Biafra land without passing through the waters, international waters, which Nigeria is part of? That became a total wrong business. Even British, they supported the Biafra from the on-go. They were so kind, they were pretending to be neutral. But when their companies are no longer able to take the oil out of Nigeria or out of Biafra, they switch side because of the oil. Ladies and gentlemen, today, the the 22nd of November, 2022, Muhammadu Buhari has delivered an historic win to the people of northern Nigeria, the Arewas. Now you have the oil, and there are prospects that you're going to see more. Would you agree with me now that it is almost time, overdue, to change that narrative? Nigeria unity is non-negotiable. Now it will be negotiable. And you are going to lead the negotiation. Their actions, their inactions, the innocent blood spilled over time. Finally, you have the black gold. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, can you please share this broadcast and invite your friends and not so friendly friends as we get down into this tonight.
Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o. Maiyegun ti dé, gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Bayelsa belongs to Jigawa. The oil in Delta belongs to Jigawa. As long, yes, because we are called Nigeria today. So that's what I'm telling you. The oil belongs to us all. And we as Nigerians shall do everything possible to make sure we take that oil so that a lot of people will have the oil as well. Will have the money of the oil. Anybody who thinks the oil of Bayelsa belongs to only Bayelsa is just deceiving himself. As long as we are in Nigeria, we will make sure that we have uninterrupted supply of oil so that there will be uninterrupted supply of money to Jigawa State. As long as we are called Nigeria. Of course we are not the same people. We have to understand that, look, I am a Fulani man, and Ijo is different, Yoruba is different, but then God has made us to stay together. So why can't we attempt to stay together? And I honestly do not mind, even if we're going pathways, let's sit on the table, around the table, and agree that, look, that oil of Bayelsa, Jigawa cannot have a share. No way. You know, I don't mind us talking like that. But as of today, that oil, we shall do everything within our means, everything with our blood, to defend our oil in Bayelsa. We will do everything possible to defend that oil in Bayelsa. It belongs to Jigawa State as well. You know, so that's what I want them to understand. This country fought civil war, and that's probably why we are still together. And anybody who threatened, unless if we are defeated, then we can leave the oil. But if anybody threatens the flow of oil, we shall fight and make sure oil flows. Ijo oil, Bayelsa oil belongs to Jigawa people. And we shall do everything possible to defend our oil in Bayelsa. Because God put our oil in Bayelsa, just like God has put the resources of Bayelsa in Jigawa. Bayelsa belongs to Jigawa. The oil in Delta belongs to Jigawa. As long, yes, because we are called Nigeria today. So that's what I'm telling you. The oil belongs to us all. And we as Nigerians shall do everything possible to make sure we take that oil so that a lot of people will have the oil as well. Will have the money of the oil. Anybody who thinks the oil of Bayelsa belongs to only Bayelsa is just deceiving himself. As long as we are in Nigeria, we will make sure that we have uninterrupted supply of oil so that there will be uninterrupted supply of money to Jigawa State. As long as we are called Nigeria. Of course we are not the same people. We have to understand that, look, I am a Fulani man, and Ijo is different, Yoruba is different, but then God has made us to stay together. So why can't we attempt to stay together? And I honestly do not mind, even if we're going pathways, let's sit on the table, around the table, and agree that, look, that oil of Bayelsa, Jigawa cannot have a share. No way. You know, I don't mind us talking like that. But
now this is the time we're going to have that conversation, okay? Somebody said that, meanwhile, for a start, yeah, the Facebook broadcast have been removed. So if you are joining us from Facebook, just remember that this is YouTube, okay? So if you become so unruly, if you start kind of acting funny, okay, we have a tool here that can actually put you into a perpetual sleep. Nobody will hear from you again, but it won't stop you from actually accessing or watching the platform. So YouTube is different from from Facebook. So you can possibly try and keep your Agberu attitude on Facebook. Just, kind of a caveat for you. However, today there's been so much. Oh, hang on. Let's start from how the journey to discover oil in northern Nigeria, how it all started. Bokwari invested over $3 billion. Are you with me? $3 billion looking for oil in northern Nigeria. At first, I think about 2 years ago, they said that they found water instead of oil. However, 2 years or so after, 2022, now they found oil, but with some data, they said they found the oil that is up to 1 billion barrels. Sure, you get like 1 billion barrels deposited. Wow. That, and they also said it is just a start. So today, Gombe and Bauchi have oil fields, 2 oil fields that will begin to extract crude oil. So there is a prospect for more, to see more. But to prove to the rest of the world and even northern Nigeria that they could possibly do without the rest of Nigeria, as in, the oil in the southern part of Nigeria has been the mainstay of Nigeria economy, forex hearing, so to say. And it has been so mismanaged that the owners of the oil have not benefited. The northern elite that are sharing these oil blocks for themselves, their own people have not also benefited. It has benefited the thieving elite, Politico, and the rest of them in Nigeria. It has been like that. And most of the time, the bragging right of an average northerner is that no matter how educated you are as a southerner, Thank you very much. One moment, by the way, I think we might have... okay, they said it's not the same place that Charade looking before they found this one. Anyway, just, leave that aside. They said they found in Bauchi as well as Gombe. So, one of the bragging rights of an average northerner is that the owners of the oil, they can scream, they can shout, they can, you know what I mean? Yet they will never, ever be in control of it as long as Nigeria exists. And the other day, the governor of Zamfara was on, doing a press conference, world press conference, signing a deal with a Chinese company or a Chinese bank or something that they are going to be exporting their gold. Zamfara gold belongs to Zamfara. And most of the time people have been saying, if Zamfara gold belongs to Zamfara, then Bayelsa oil should belong to Bayelsa, right? Anyway, they have found oil. Sorry guys, the Facebook is gone, like I said. So if you are joining us from Facebook, it's a deal. I have to remove it. We had a lot of people joining. Then just within 5, 10, 15 seconds, right? The number started dropping and dropping so fast. And I know what that means, okay? Because 99% of those who are my followers on Facebook have been denied the opportunity of receiving notification that Maiyegun is live. Those who receive the notification are not allowed to either share, like, or even comment, to the point that it is pointless when you can't do anything or react to, to what I mean. So they did that on purpose. But tonight, they deliberately kind of turn on their robots to cut everything down, which is all right. We'll be fine on YouTube. So we are just on YouTube now, nowhere else. Okay, well, we are also on, I'm also on Twitter. If you're watching me live on Twitter, just look for at MaiyegunsDiary as well. Well, anyway, if you are here, that means you are on the right platform where this is indeed still live. So they've discovered oil, which simply means even though oil is not the main reason why people are asking, right, for the imbalance, the fraudulent structure of Nigeria should be discussed, reviewed, and more reason why restructuring. Now, let's talk about that. You see, those who have sold the bobo of restructuring in the past, who have been so honest with what they wanted, the northern Nigeria that shut that down, they shut that down for one reason and one reason only, because of oil and the money from oil. Because in Nigeria, yeah, the federal government controlled by the northern Nigeria actually controls the sales of that oil. So whatever they tell you they sold is what they sold, right? Which simply means that when they are now declaring anything, and they have to share the money among the 36 states of Nigeria. So that money is what more than 28 states in Nigeria relied on. They are unable to generate revenue locally. People have become more poorer and poorer. So therefore, they depend more on whatever is being shared at that center. Yeah. So in the last 7 years, Nigeria have lost so much to vandals, to thieves, oil thieves, in the last 7 years. And somehow, that itself is also kind of shrinking, which means that the revenue itself is shrinking. But nevertheless, majority of them still relied on it. So if you restructure Nigeria, what that simply means is you will stop that kill and go, kill and share attitude. Do you get that now? You will stop that. And restructuring Nigeria is not just about having your region or what have you. It is taking control of everything that is there in that your region to your own use and for your own benefit. There are so much all over Nigeria that the sweet oil money that the criminal politicians past and present have been so used to, have become so blind to them. So which simply means that single oil that has created so much corruption and bloodbath, and this underdevelopment, right, has blinded, or sort of to say, has created more underdevelopment in the areas that people could have discovered if there was no oil. So Eastern Nigeria, Western Nigeria, Northern Nigeria, they all have oil now. So I want to discuss restructuring. Maybe at this time, they can now feel like, well, it's balanced. In what ways? They have the land, vast land to grow every food or any kind of food they want, or rear any kind of animal they want. Now they have the oil that could indeed help them develop those things without having to share that with anyone, like everyone has been sharing them all this while. And a restructured Nigeria simply means there will be no free money anymore from anywhere. You have to kill what you eat. You have to grow what you eat. You have to live within your means. Because others at the time, others have oil. They don't. That would be like unfair to them for you, Southern Nigeria, to go away with all of that. So if there's anything like Bukwari has done in the last 7 years to show to all of us where we belong, that there is no one Nigeria. What you have is many Nigerias. And we know that has always been the case, but he managed to make that official for us. So to many of you who have clinged on to this fraud, one Nigeria, Bokwari has managed to give us the timeline that we are all living on a borrowed time, a forced union of people who don't really want to be with themselves. The expiring date of that is coming to be, and good enough. This is happening a little bit in the lifetime of those who were the foundational member of this ruin that we are experiencing today. Now, let me make it clearer, better to you. Nigeria is a forced, fraudulent union, and it is only being kept alive or together by the greed of the elite in that place, including the political elite. Now, their greed and selfishness, power mongering, has managed to create, instead of uniting the country, it has created more poverty, suspicion, hatred, inequality, and so many other vices that can show to you that we are just living on a borrowed time. And the reason why they are still clinging on to it is because most of what they live on, most of what Nigeria existed on, are based mostly in one region. Now that is no longer the case. The old guards who brought us to this stage, somehow in their lifetime, they are balancing the equation. But you, the younger generation, who never witnessed the time of, you never witnessed what your own forebearers signed up for. They signed up for independence region in Nigeria. They didn't sign up for one Nigeria to start with. One Nigeria started after the people who felt like we shouldn't be together anymore. In fact, we shouldn't even be a country. We should break up right away. The revenge coupists, which Bokwari was one of them, right? So they forced this one Nigeria, and they maintained it and said it is non-negotiable. It's not, you can't discuss it. Now, you, the younger generation, in your lifetime, they are now making you see why you must discuss it, why you must demand it. And now, if indeed you care, if I care, if you care at this time, you can see the picture clearer now. Some said that what they found in northern Nigeria is just a fluke. I would have agreed with you, but it won't do us any good in this conversation. Yeah, it won't. The reason is this. In Yoruba land, there is a saying that a child that followed his father to the farm. So they were walking on the farm, and he told his father, I just found a snail. And his father said, wow, keep it. When we get back home, you will use it to pay sacrifice to your creator. Child kept the snail. Well, the father believed that the child kept his snail. And it wasn't long after that, he screamed again, I found another one, a big one. Then his father responded, your creator, your Ori, must really be behind you. Right? Keep the bigger snail. We will use it as a sacrifice, to your own creator. Now, when they go home, later in the night, the father called the child. My son, come here. Can you please bring out the snails you found when we were on the farm earlier today? And the child laughed and he said, my father, I was actually playing with you. I was just fooling you that I found snails. I didn't find any snail. The father looked at the child and said, well, you didn't fool me. You fooled your creator. So that narrative is what I'm going to use to say, let's leave that, what do you call it? Conspiracy theory out of it now. Let's follow their own trail. They found oil and they have prospect to find more. They have food. An average northerner, you remember when they said they were doing food blockade to southern Nigeria as a punishment in reaction to the ban on open grazing and movement of cows in southern Nigeria. Do you remember that? And you remember what followed? It didn't have any effect on anybody. Do you remember that? Because people in southern Nigeria could grow their own food. Of late, we have been facing incessant attacks from the Fulani terrorists, invading farms, chasing and kidnapping people on their farms, and invading and ransacking and destroying farms in southern Nigeria. But nevertheless, people can still feed themselves. You know what I mean? Yeah, there will be some effect and all that. So what happened? They used that as a weapon to say, if all of you in southern Nigeria feels like you want to be ungrateful, we supply your vegetables, we supply your this, we supply your that, we supply your meat, you love partying, you know that stuff. And they could use that. That's something you call a weapon of war, a declaration of war. But all happened under APC, right? Because people said they want to defend themselves and they will not welcome an armed Fulani terrorists onto their farms or into their land freely willy or so. So they use food blocks. So that means they have a lot of food. Now they have oil. They have land. They could build a dam that could, recharge the Lake Chad like Tifnumbu is promising them. Now there's so much on the table now. They have other things. They've got gold. They've got so many other natural resources. And they have Sharia, a place where nobody would dare insult the prophet. You get what I mean now? Like, you will get to know that this is a place whereby this is the law, where they can actually practice the idea of governance, religion, and the rest of that they want for the rest of Nigeria. Like, this is ideal because this is this is how it was before they forced us together in 1966. Restructuring shouldn't scare anybody anymore, even though it is not actually a word that mean what it actually like, that mean what it sounded like, so to say. But when they were using restructuring and they were using it for political maneuvering and all of that, the northern Nigeria knew what they were proposing is an indirect breakup of Nigeria. So as an average northerner, think about what I just said. Arewa has oil. Bokwari said you have oil. And we believe you found oil. And we also believe you're going to find more. You're going to see more of this. This is just the beginning. Now, the reason why Biafra, IPOB, is giving you sleepless nights than what the Fulani terrorist Boko Haram are doing to you up north. The reason why you find the IPOB Nnamdi Kanu are so scary is simply because your leaders have nothing they are going to live on. Like they are living off Nigeria right now. They will have nothing to fall back on. Majority of them will fail your Sharia law. Do you understand? And at this time, for those of you who are really, really, really religious, not extremists, or even if you're extremists, this will be a great opportunity for you to have a country like Qatar, like Saudi Arabia, where sinners, infidels, are not really welcome, where state law represent things that represent your value, your value. This is what is mixing up in Nigeria. This is not what our forebearers signed up for. When Ahmadu Bello, the premier of the northern region at the time, when Ahmadu Bello was leading northern Nigeria, he was like an Islamic scholar. Sorry, I am sorry if comprehension is a problem for you, okay? Whatever you hear me say, is what I say. And how you see it or how you interpret it is yours, okay? I am not going to talk to you like I'm talking to a 5-year-old or talking to the 5-year-olds. Okay. So if you hear anything from a mouth, right, you can give it any interpretation you like. Do you understand? Better. So looking at it as a northerner, it is more like, if it is not selfishness, right, this could be a golden opportunity indeed to experience what your forebearers actually signed up for before the terrorists in uniform disrupted everything in 1966. Now, all the hatred, the reason why you feel like you have to be so careful as a northerner right now, to be careful of a southerner from any part of the south, like to be careful of a Biafran, is because the criminals who interrupted and disrupted the regional system, that would have made it kind of a worryless thing for you, that anybody from any region is trying to take over any part of your land or anything of your life, because you have a total control. That was what your forebearers signed up for. And that was what the Buhari and co. disrupted in 1966. And you as a southerner, here we go. One of the things that we have suffered as a people, are you with me? One of the things we have suffered as a people from southern Nigeria, especially young people, is that they have removed history from our own curriculum. In Nigeria, you don't have them. Now I heard that some Yoruba states are beginning to reintroduce history back into your schools. The doctored history. Nevertheless, I am opportuned to live in between when things began degenerating to when they actually got worse. The 80s. And as Southerners, as Yorubas, in fact, as Yorubas, we used to read about how the First Republic of a Western region legislated on things that were primarily concerning, and like I say primarily, you know, touching our different lives, and the derivatives from this, or let me say the source of sponsoring and promoting such policies came from what we have, our resources, the people, and the natural resources of the Yoruba land. So administratively, Yoruba land was carved in a way that there was no single part of Yoruba land, or let me say, there was no single part of a Western region at the time, right, that today we tell you did not feel the impact of 1954 to 1963 Western region government of Nigeria, the people of Yoruba land. Now, how were they able to do all of that? They were able to, at least, number one, they won't lie to themselves. There was no political gain in, falsifying figures if you really want to help the people. And if you really want to help the people, there is no anything called state secrecy, that something that has to do with their life, direct life, education, healthcare, agriculture, land ownership, house ownership, and so on and so forth. These were things that the good policies put together by pro-Yorubas who were in charge of Yoruba land at the time, pro-Yoruba ideas that involved all Yorubas, whether you are in government or you are not in government, whether you are in politics or you are not in politics. It touches everywhere where you knew then that you could be any. But today, what you have is a rent-seeking system whereby falsify figures and at the same time, the reliance on the free money that Nigeria represents, as long as we are no longer allowed to even access or tap both human and natural resources. Because if you want to use the human resources, you must have the natural resources as well to keep them functional. And that's exactly what they denied us. We didn't probably have oil down. I mean, then, maybe if we have been on our own, like we were at the time, Yoruba land would have been exploring oil as well and gas. Yoruba land would have been probably one of the major exporter of the same products all over the world, earning enough, and at the same time developing. Because at the time when we were using our own agricultural proceed to run Yoruba land, those were the glorious days. And the example of if you are indeed allowed to run your thing. And same thing with the people of the Eastern Nigeria. Today they are talking about dashing them a seaport, dashing them this or that. Hello. For 7 years, APC, Egbekegbe, under the leadership of Bukuwari, which promised you one refinery every year. And then for 7 years, there is no working refinery in Nigeria today that you can say is even up to 10-20% capacity. All near dead, and no new one built. Meanwhile, in these same 7 years, this same APC, Egbekegbe, they have invested, or let me say, they have invested or borrowed, over $12 billion in the name of oil, wherever in Nigeria. And I'll tell you what they have done. First, they were budgeting, and spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in what they call trying to revitalize and refurbish and resuscitate the moribund refineries they met. And when they came to power, over 45%, well, the refineries in Nigeria, including those ones in Port Harcourt, they were working at the capacity of over 45% capacity at the time. Guess what today? Like I said, I don't think any of them is working all of them put together. I don't think they are working up to 20% capacity. They killed them. How? They went to the what do you call it, European Union to borrow money that they wanted to construct. Is it World Bank? They shall go on there to borrow $6.5 billion because they want to construct a pipeline from Niger Delta where the oil where they have the oil, and then it's going to be a transnational pipeline. Gets to where? To Niger Republic, a refinery there that they have been investing their money in, right, in the last 7 years. No investment right there in your own infrastructure, your oil industry, nothing. Okay, so which means it's deliberate. From the money made from that, they have invested in discovering oil in northern Nigeria. So if that puts the balance into it, then it is worth a check and a look. So the bottom line is that today, they agreed, which I still believe is going to eventually lead them into that explosion that we are counting days for now. We are now counting days. By between now and February, yeah, you will get to see even better. But the point here is this: the agreed has created more poverty. The agreed has created a corruption, a huge corruption. Their own greed and selfishness has created and nurtured the terrorism in Nigeria. Crimes has increased, and today poverty has skyrocketed, multi-dimensional poverty. Now, all of this, right, are eventually going to implode the entire system, which means their greed is going to break up in Nigeria. And if it's going to happen today, you as a northerner, I think at this point, you have something to say. You have oil. If Nigeria break up tomorrow, you've not lost anything. Just for you. Doesn't really matter if you believe me or if you don't. And to every one of you who believe that Maiyegun is a scam, do you believe that I've told you? Doesn't matter anymore. They've made it public. They've opened up and said they have a 1 billion deposit. Do you get that now? So which means that alone, if Nigeria break up tomorrow, yeah, they can still sell and explore, or let me say, they can still pump a crude oil from their 2 fields, right, for another 8 years if they are selling 400,000 barrels every day. Yes, for 8 solid years, they can say, oh, is that, I don't know, probably more. What am I saying? 18 years or 20 years. If they are selling for 500,000 barrels every day, well, 8 years it will be. But it doesn't really matter. They can see more. And mind you, they can feed the entire Africa if there is no terrorism in up north, right? They can grow food, as they say. So all of this gives them an opportunity to actually look to the future, not looking into the present anymore. So the fear of if Nigeria is going to break, you're going to fight war, will become unnecessary in the next few months and few years to come. And guess what? It is ideal to begin to prepare for that as a southerner yourself. Now, they were there today in Bauchi. Just a glimpse. So that's that. You have oil. The way where you find 1 billion, you may find another 1 trillion cubic deposit of oil and gas. So if it is about development and all of that, if everybody controls their own regions and their own resources and everything, now you have enough to say, to hell with Nigeria now. You've said that many times. Some of you have said that already. But it's just that none of you actually mean that. Now you can begin to look into that. Like they are going to use a lot of money from Nigeria to develop it for you. Because you know one of the things they did, right? For the past 6 years, they built a refinery in Kaduna. Between Kaduna and Bayelsa, or Kaduna and then Omoku in Rivers, or Kaduna to Ondo. We are talking about thousands of kilometers of driving. Sure you get. But they built a refinery there. So they will now have to get the oil from Bayelsa, take it to Kaduna. So they already built a refinery. They are paying people over 200 billion a year salary in that Kaduna refinery. And they have never produced a single oil. So now they have the oil in Gombe and Bauchi. So the distance between Gombe and Bauchi, I don't think Gombe and Bauchi and then Bauchi to Kaduna. I don't think that would be too far compared to Kaduna to Warri, or Kaduna to Oloibiri, or Kaduna to Rivers, or Kaduna to Akwa Ibom. Do you understand? So economically, the northern Nigeria now have their future in their hands. They can now take their eyes away from that free money, the oil. And this is the time that you can tell your leaders and everybody and say, if Nigeria wants to break now, let's begin the negotiation. Let's start it now. I know you probably won't agree with me, but it doesn't really matter. It will remain in your head that it actually makes sense. It does make sense. Anyway, Kolu was there to say, when he become your president, no be only oil you go get. He's going to build you dam. Even though you are hungry, Buhari is the greatest leader that you've ever had. It belongs to the category of...
Each time we discuss the lack of food and the challenges of terrorism, you will talk about Lake Chad. Okay, let me assure you, if I am elected the president, I will recharge Lake Chad. You often talk about Mambila and the electricity. What a problem we have. Even though you are not within the parameters of arithmetic, you know a circle is a circle. And once drawn, you have to break it in different ways. You didn't look, you are not a backward person. who look back at the history of disappointment and failures, you are always forward-looking. That is why, while we were debating, I insisted that our title for the manifesto will be a renewed hope. Not knowing that today will happen. And today it is happening. It's a renewed hope for the entire Nigeria and Federal Republic of the country. Let me assure you, I will continue to hold on to that renewed hope and carry forward where you left the footprint.
That's Kolu. It's promising that he's likely going to do that for you, for the Federal Republic of the country, the people of the Federal Republic of the country. Anyway, is a choice, they will say, yeah? There is something I'm going to try and bring up in a moment as well. Just give me a sec.
Don't fix some of Nigeria's problems today. That is this INEC problem. I've said plainly, INEC, put me in trouble if you like. It is a fraud. The numbers in Nigeria, as far as census are concerned, and as far as election is concerned, are a lie. And if nobody will speak up about it, the righteous should speak. And our righteousness is not of ourselves. It is of him, and he will protect. Hallelujah. It is important. It is skewed now so that where the numbers are not properly reflected in our voting. This is the only country in West Africa where you move from the ocean to the desert and the numbers decrease, or rather, they increase. The only country. It's the only country in the world where you move from a large body of water to little or no water and the numbers increase. It was not Nigerians that started it. It was the parents of Nigeria who were not good parents. They were not good parents. The man, Lord Lugard, was a devil incarnate. And what he did to this country, we are suffering it many years later, and it's time that we must tell the truth. It's time we must tell the truth. It's absolute, we must. And those of you who benefit from the system, when the judgment comes, unless you extricate yourself in the righteousness of God, that's your own problem. You understand?
And I call it the day of reckoning. So when that happens, where do you think, or where do you see yourself? That's the question people would, well, somebody like myself kind of love asking. The lie is, it's sort of, it's like a veil. You know what I mean? It's like a veil is coming off. And for the for the few people who are experiencing that, we'll say, please don't give it up because you probably have no idea what you are experiencing. And for this sake, thanks so much anyway for spending your evening with me so far. I have another little break quickly, just before we continue on this. A quick one. This time around, it's a conversation you probably would love to watch.
And the leadership and service conversation, because we are still looking for leaders, are we not? Hello? We are looking for who will reduce the price of food, are we? Who will secure us? Who will provide jobs? Let's have that conversation. And water and power and housing. You see how we have evolved? From single foragers, all of us are now looking for somebody to carry the load. Not so? Let's go forward. So in the circumstances of our current political transition and the leadership and service conversation, it will be pertinent to speak about the choices of leadership that now lie ahead of us as a people. As we look towards making a choice between frontline and perhaps not two frontline candidates, I find an interesting parallel between some of the frontline candidates, and I call them frontline in quotes. So you have your own views, who is frontline. I have my own views, who is frontline. So let us not disagree about frontline. But for my own frontline candidates, they were all elected as governors of different states, and they have served 8 years in the respective states, except one of them who was elevated to higher office. Solve the riddle. It will seem logical, therefore, to look at what they have done in their states and in the elevated offices that has had a national impact. Don't forget, national impact too. And if you like, something that meets the Azinge standard for qualification for grants. That is, quote, something significant, something enduring, something practical, and something impactful. Is that not the Azinge standard? It seems to me that only one candidate will meet the Azinge standard when we look at the work of the frontline candidates as qualifications for choosing them in the next general elections. So this candidate championed the first ever state government bond for infrastructure. This candidate was the first to enact a state internal revenue service agency law to boost internal revenue generation, which many states have now adopted and applied. This candidate also pioneered the reform of outdoor advertising through state legislation to create outdoor advertising agencies. This has been replicated in many states.
I was privy to a very good lecture here today. This lecture was conspicuous as well as much as it was interesting. We heard about the bridges, the 52% reduction in time. However, it is so interesting that we didn't hear about the 8 months ASU strike. No politics. No. Fashola is my boss. For all we didn't hear about the naira now costing above, the dollar costing above 750 naira, which I warned us against. Speaking about roads, my boss also didn't speak about the Abuja-Kano expressway, which practically nothing has been done about it. A leader should always be balanced. We're introducing, I am balancing that lecture. That lecture was very, very good. Yes, when you get academic and academics are listening to you, that lecture was very good. Human society has evolved. Leadership has evolved. Adam was a leader to Eve. Your Eminence, I am entering your... David was a leader. Solomon was a leader. Moses was a leader. They never gave themselves national honors themselves. Their legacies stood for them. This is what I'm saying. Whatever you do, however much you enforce it by force, legacies will stand the test of time. Misrule will never stand the test of time. We have had leaders from time immemorial, 4,000 years, 2,000 years, 1,600 years.
So I decided to just drop that in as an interval, moving away from the oil in Bauchi and Gombe, as we continue to monitor what they're going to say after this and who is going to own it, and if it's business as usual, and how the younger, well, I think I'm thinking too far. It's like I'm thinking too far for them. And at the same time, I should just use the normal shortcuts. We shall see. However, as you watch me tonight, okay, I gave you the background history of why they're still keeping Nigeria one. They are not keeping Nigeria together because of you. They don't care about your safety or security. They don't care about your children's education or even you getting employment. They don't give a damn. Okay? People who want to develop people. You will see the prospect, you will see the template, you will see not just the intention, but if they do it and they ended up having to reward themselves and channel the proceeds of that to themselves than you, then you understand me better. But time, like they say, we tell. So normally, everyone or every part of Nigeria, I believe, have what it takes to exist as a country. The other night, we were looking at the population, like we know, not that we can really rely on these numbers, but let's use them for this conversation, yeah? You have 7 million or so people in Bauchi. That's more than the population of some countries in this world. Countries where many of us are queuing to get their visa. We don't even speak their languages and all that. And then if you look around you, you see that they have what it takes to exist. If you remove all the cankerworms, the scavengers, the opportunists that exist in their everyday life, they call them leaders. We call them thieves. So the opportunity is there. So you as an average northerner can easily ask and question what you have been told before. Now you know that if a conversation says for the development of other people, right, for everybody to do their own thing their way, is not a crime against the North. The criminal politicians who told you that banning open grazing in southern Nigeria is against the North. Banning the movement of cows or carrying AK-47 down south will hand you jail time is against the North. All these criminals are more or less like appealing to your extremist side to hide their own failure of how much they failed you in a way. So what do you think? It will give you an opportunity to say, well, if I didn't believe before, I do believe now that people can actually survive. Everyone can survive on their own. That you can't survive without the South, or the South can't survive without the North, and the rest of that are the myth created by the roguish government politicians who have been benefiting from this from time immemorial. You can stop it. The reason why we call Nigeria their feeding bottle is because of the feeding bottle, the oil, the free money, and every other thing they take in your name that never really get to you. Now, you can begin to believe that Arewa have oil. And if Arewa have oil, what is still keeping Nigeria? Let's talk about that. So I know that there are already people who are counting days of when Nigeria is going to end and all of that, and they are going to break everything all together. Yeah. Now, if you are watching me as a northerner at this time, if anybody tells you that they want to break Nigeria, Nigeria should break, I don't think you should give a damn anymore. You shouldn't even give a damn anymore. Okay? Like, okay, let us break. Let everybody go their separate ways. It will serve the interest of everyone. But if your leader says no, then you know they are your enemies too. However, I was scouting my social media as usual earlier, and then I caught a show having a chat just before I take you to my next one, yeah, which is, in fact, I think we should start from there. I don't know how many of you have seen this video of Werewike today. The credit of it goes to the channel's television as well, okay? However, I'll play it so that you listen to it first. Something that they haven't really shared publicly before, but most of us have spoken about that. But for this time around, Wike is now kind of telling you why they will make sure they sink at Tifku for Tifnumbu. Okay? But they will disguise behind Obi, disguise behind Kwakwanso, and as time goes by, you'll get to know it is all for Tifnumbu. Now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's what they're about to do, but the reason why or the reasons behind where a wicked set tantrum. Now you have the image or the answer in this video. Take a moment.
You know, what I don't like in people, we forget history easily. We forget history. We forget history that in 2015, when Jonathan, as a sitting president, I'm not talking as a Cuba, as a presidential candidate. I'm saying as a sitting president. When he had won his primaries, people forget history. Jonathan went to London, in Dorchester Hotel. He went to plead with this our presidential candidate today, Atiku Abubakar. Say, please, my brother, come back to the party and support me. You know the condition they gave to Jonathan? He should relinquish his ticket not to run as the president of Nigeria. That was a sitting president and a presidential candidate of a ruling party. They gave him condition. Telling him to relinquish that ticket for him not to run. So when I see some people running around talking rubbish, they forget history easily. Today, we are not saying the presidential candidate should relinquish the ticket. We are not being selfish. We are saying since you are not the presidential candidate, let our people take chairmanship. They said they will kill me. Is it possible?
Yendeba. When I shared this video on Facebook, I said Atiku should just forget it. Because now, even if they are looking for reconciliation or no reconciliation or whatever it is, he should just forget this whole thing. I mean, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Because it's now obvious that with the wiki asking you to go, and the rest is because he just didn't want to make it look like Atiku should relinquish his tickets. So why is this happening? Because of the control, or of who controls the oil, the money, the resources of Nigeria, who shares it. And since these your northern elites, northern criminal politicians in different parties are so fixated to power, they want power. They have been having it for the past, Nigeria is 62 years, Abi. Out of 62 years, northern Nigeria, or somebody from northern Nigeria, been in charge of Nigeria one time or another. They have been in charge, northern Nigeria have ruled Nigeria for over 45 years of 62 years. Do you understand that? And yet, the only thing they have given back to northern Nigeria is to make sure that more than 80% of the people of northern Nigeria were groomed and are still being groomed to live and depend on what they can get from Nigeria. I'll tell you, there are so many people who are getting paid. Their names appear as local government workers, teachers, this or that, in different parts of local government areas in northern Nigeria. There are no offices, there are no jobs like that. These are people who are just they put them there like people collecting what you call government aid. But they just put a name to say they are working, they are getting promoted. And this has been in place for ages. Others who can try and read and write a little, no matter, they can then go into politics. Traditionally, they can live off whatever they get from that, because once somebody goes into that politics, even if it's just a councillor, he will have like another 1,000 people that will depend on him on their daily feed. Do you understand? the Bambi Allah, Kajiriabo, Bambi Allah stuff. This is how they practice the incubation, the breeding of the weaponized poverty. Breeding of the people or weaponizing poverty on the people for a period like this. So it is like that hierarchical. A local government chairman, when they send somebody to be their local government, it doesn't see, he is not sent there to perform any magic that will take care of a number of people. His house become the mecca of sorts for many of the poor people in that community. That is the government touching their lives. That's what they see that as. So in the other word, the categories like that goes on and on and on like that. So whatever they now give to them, if they construct road, if they build schools, if they do anything, it was more or less like a zakat. That big man is giving them zakat. These days, they are claiming to be opening their eyes and they are becoming wiser and all of that. But it is not true. Generally, it's not. Yes, more people are saying they are speaking up today, but it doesn't mean that that has changed the practice. So it's the way. There are those who are getting paid. They don't even live in their states. They are collecting salary because when they were there, before they moved to somewhere else, moved to Lagos or moved to anywhere, they were collecting that free money every month. They just need to go to the local government, the last Thursday of the month and sign and say, I came here. And then they get paid. Millions of them are put on that payroll up north. It's not about developing. It's not about education. It's not about investing in them and all of that stuff. No, it's about making sure that once you become that rep, or once you become that representative for them, you are willing to take the responsibility of, you know what I mean? Which is a sad, is very, very sad and sad thing. They got the power many years, and it doesn't reflect. It has never reflected in the lives of the people there. Just same way, the 17 years that southern Nigeria ruled Nigeria, it hasn't reflected in the lives of the people of southern Nigeria. Thank God for the traditional foundation that we had, and that was we must get education. Education is not haram with us. Innovation is not haram. You know what I mean? Being creative is not haram. All these things that makes you competitive is not haram. And speaking out is not haram to us. You don't get killed or stoned to death for speaking out your mind, even against any religion or any prophet. So that's this now, bro, what you can call the culture clash, if you have to say the South and the North. In a way, the consequences of the leadership of those who have led Nigeria for the past 62 years, Northerners and Southerners. So Atiku, in his desperation, further created and in fact gave birth to Bokwari, the APC, Egbekegbe, that has now wreaked havoc in Nigeria today, divided Nigeria, divided Nigerians, and they are doing so much to make sure that they are not held responsible for that. So all of this, in a nutshell, all of this, in a way, to Wike, he now has something to fight for. I'm fighting for the South. He's not fighting for any South. He's fighting for his own political survival. Just like some of us in Yoruba land who understand the history of the of the cultural, politics of that, of when we were growing up. Nadeko to Afenifere for Yoruba nation, Afenifere for restructuring, and then today, those who actually sailed on that background of the ethnic belief that Yorubas can only attain our own our own God-given height that we should, you know what I mean, attain naturally if we do things on our own, like we signed up for in 1957. I'm sorry, 1954 to 1963. So they sold us that boo-boo. Yorubas believed them. They got that power. They changed the tone. Now they are talking about Nigeria. If you dare say something that is not about Nigeria, they quickly give you up, they give you up for prosecution, for jail, or even, to be killed. Same people who told you they love Yoruba that much, and they were loved back, only for them to end up betraying Yoruba and then, supporting Nigeria. Today, you know the story. So that's exactly what, Wike is doing. Wike belongs to them. He's one of them. He's been part of them. He's still part of them. But it's easier to say, look at these people. Buhari is a Fulani from northern Nigeria. Atiku is a Fulani from northern Nigeria. So does it make any sense in a divided country like this, with what Boko Haram have done, the polarization of Nigeria at this much? Does it make any sense? Would it bring any unity? Would it bring any trust to look into another northerner, a Fulani northerner that will come in desperation because, well, it's a northerner, they can get whatever they want, or deal with anybody that tried to stop them? So where the Wike could use that and say he's now fighting for the southern Nigeria. But what's that fight all about? For themselves. And this is where, it was even talking somewhere. I mean, it was like a short one. Hang on.
I told them, Ibas is a quiet man. He's a Christian, born again Christian. I am not a born again Christian. I'm a Christian, but not a born again Christian. I told Ibas, when they slap me, I told here. Me, if you slap me here, I don't know what I will survive the other one. I'll blow your head off. If you push me, I'll push you. Touch me, I will touch you.
If you push me, I push you. Touch me, I touch you. I no be gentleman. No. That's what Wike was saying there, right? The point here is this. Whatever he does, whatever he displays, and the rest of them, they are just, in my own word, right? It is not for you to take any side and be like, he's probably speaking on your behalf. It's not. It is just an opportunity to see through what they are trying to keep away from you by telling you half truth so that you can believe them on this. But I will want you to see the bigger picture. It is because it has gotten to a stage where, listen to me, up north, you have you have Tifnumbu, Alaji Tifnumbu, the Jaga bandit. He is Alaji, married to pastor. And he's been Alaji for so long. But being Alaji from southern Nigeria to the extremists, fanatics, because that's what you practice in Nigeria. You are not practicing religion in Nigeria. Do you know that? You are practicing extremism. Now, what? They think of how person go born, how this one goes. Something terrible will happen to people you don't like. People who disagree with you politically. That's ungodly. That's extremism. You know what I mean? Many of you who claim to be religious, you are just a terrorist. We never get liver to carry bomb. You are just a walking, living terrorist yourself. If you review some of your thoughts sometimes, things you kind of agree to, but you can't say publicly. If somebody say any rubbish, make them cut off their head. You can't say it publicly, yeah? Because they look at you as a decent person. But somehow, or if somebody abuse your pastor, may turn that firearm, tear or make that person run mad because of saying something about your pastor. All those things are extremist or extreme thinking of an extremist. So you're an extremist, terrorist. We just never carry bomb, but you go get there. You get what I mean? They say now from gossiping, person they graduate to wish and witchcraft. So now say the people again, extremism that you are practicing in Nigeria. But whatever that comes to anyway, where the Wike is being honest. Listen, I'm a Christian. I'm not a born again. If you blow me, I blow you. If you touch me, I touch you. If you do this or do that, you know what I mean? But again, no matter how much he tries to make it look, the point is, you have Atifku is a northerner. You have who else? Kwakwanso is a northerner. You have Alaji Tifnumbu is a southerner. You have Peter Obi is a southerner. Now Alaji Tifnumbu up north is considered as somebody that is not a real Muslim. Alaji Tifnumbu is considered as an infidel, or we can only manage him. if he can prove to us that he can bring somebody we can trust, then he chose the shitty man to convince them up north. Now, that is to show to them before they could even like make him what it is with all his money and all that. But you see, Peter Obi, that one chose a Fulani man, Ahmed Dati, but somehow, Peter Obi up north is called a pastor. Why? Because as a Muslim up north, they want to ask you, you won't go vote a pastor? Pastor Obi, pastor is a pastor, Pastor Peter. People come to ask, when did Nigeria turn to, when did Peter Obi become a pastor? I said, that is Nigeria politics. And the reason is simply because all of them are there together. If what you signed up for, what your forebearers signed up for, the Eastern region, and Obi is running to be the premier, which is like the president of the Eastern region. Even if you call him Alhaji Obi, nobody will listen to you in Biafra land. Nobody would, because they will know him. Abi, there will be no reason for him to want to answer any Aruno in Kano that knows that he is not a pastor, but he saw a poster and a poll that says he's a pastor. But because it is Nigeria, he said, but they said you are a pastor. You are a pastor. You see that confusing that is? Tifnumbu, a Yoruba man, to belong to the caucus of person will be said, they say, what do you do? I'm Alhaji. I'm a deacon. How are you a deacon? How are you Alhaji? He became Alhaji Ule. Now, as Alhaji, he can't prove, as much as he's been with them, he's been around for so long, he had to go and bring somebody who is a Boko Haram sympathizer to convince them that he's a real Muslim. As for Atiku, they did a poll. I'll show you that. Let me see if I still have it. They did a poll. Nigeria is run by extremists, criminals, and that is why today, which we have said before, religion and tribe, religious profiling, tribal and ethnic profiling, as well as ethnic, targeting, are going to be the core conversation of your charade. And rather than you continue to ask, this is too harsh. How can you say something like that? That is too bad. Just remember that Maiyegun said, you could save us all of this if we are on our own. And being on our own should become more interesting to you now, especially that those who are against it are going to begin to change their mind that they are no longer against it. So they ran a poll. In that poll, somebody who is Tambuwa's special advisor. Okay, you see, Tambuwa is the governor of Sokoto. Tambuwa is Atifu's campaign director, campaign whatever, presidential campaign whatever, council chairman. Now, Tambuwa's media advisor, special advisor to Tambuwa on media, now has another special advisor on media. So, in a nutshell, the special advisor to the special advisor on media to the special advisor on media to the governor of Sokoto State now conducted the poll in the name of TVC Hausa. You know, TVC is owned by Tifnumbu. Now they call it a presidential poll. Now look at this, because there's somewhere I want to show you. Now Atiku is Alhaji. Let me see if I can take this off. You can see the underneath. Now that's Alhaji Atiku, yeah? Good. Now let's go on to, I think there's another one where you have Tifnumbu. Arabi Kwakwanso. Yeah? Right. This is the one. Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Rabiu Musa Kokwanso. But here, Alhaji Atifku Abubakar. Yeah? Now, if you now check this, you now see Pastor Peter Obi. Since you know what I mean, since their charade started, when I pointed out to you then that Nigeria election or charade is going to help you. If you want to try, even you as a Nigerian, okay, let's say you just want to, you are not obedient, you are not articulated, you are not batty-looted or something like that, yeah? Let's say you are neutral right now and you want to possibly understand how divided Nigeria is. I mean, how divided Nigeria really is. Like, don't worry about all you have read, even if you are kind of having these different opinions about them. Just bury them for now, like hang them for now. If you pay attention to the characters involved in this, their charade, their lies, and their vituperations, their outbursts, and all that, they will give you the insight into how divided Nigeria is, really. And for those who have discovered, people like us, the question we keep asking is, why can't we avoid this chaos? Tell ourselves this truth. Avoid the bloodbath and stop giving life to these narcissistic criminals you call leaders, and call it quits and break it up. That usually sounds like too blunt and too straightforward to so many people. No, come and break it up now. Oh yeah, come back here now, come and break it. No, I've told you, nobody is going to break it up for you. The politicians are doing the job. I just want people who didn't understand why we continue to say it is the best option. In fact, it is the only option. You can try all you want for now. You can keep extending it for all you like, but trust me, it is coming to pass, and it is coming to pass sooner than you can imagine. And nobody is coming to do it. The actions of your politicians will do it. I've said that many times, and I mean that. Well, I wait to be proven wrong. They will break Nigeria up. You're going to help them do it as well. But if you really want to understand why, how, where did that come from, just pay attention to their elections, okay? Pay attention. The propaganda, the lies. You see, they will tell you it's normal. But I am telling you, they are deliberate. That will eventually help you with that implosion. People hate themselves more now. Okay? Igbos, Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, on social media, off social media, people are being treated so badly because of where they come from and where they are currently living. Because of, you know what I mean? And it is going to get worse with the kind of messages, with the kind of things that they are promoting there, here and there against one another. Are you with me? And eventually, because they all have millions of people listening to them. So what do you expect? An implosion, which is just a matter of time. And I've said that not because I probably have any control over it. Are you with me? But it is because the criminals who brought us to this point, they haven't even seen that they've done anything wrong. It seems they are not even seeing it themselves. They are not seeing the damages they have caused. Even you, their supporters and their, they are their backers. You have no idea the damages they have done. It will only take a tiny spark. And then you will see everybody will turn to real prophet. I remember this person said it. I remember that person said. Everybody will just turn to genius. But just pay attention. Pay attention. You will see how divided Nigeria is right now. And how divided Nigerians are. They will tell you, let's come together and make Nigeria great. Let's do everything together and make our... It's all lies, okay? Don't believe them. Because none of those people actually mean anything. they are saying. Do you understand? What they didn't understand is that every day the time is ticking like a time bomb, and their action will push you there. I haven't seen anywhere. In all sincerity, if you have seen, please tell me. We have Yoruba Nation campaigners. We even have some of them. I mean, we have a lot of them on social media who are making declaration upon declaration. The other day, somebody called me and he said, they even sent me some voice notes here. Some of them, I am not going to use them yet. A lot of stuff I've told you that I'm not going to say now until some of these characters, they will outplay themselves. After they create one lie after the other, one lie after the other, after another lie, they will run out of lies. Then they will go on to accusing and pointing fingers at everybody that they could just drag into their mud and everything. Then they will run out of that as well. When they are finally done, they will be outed. And when I say outed, it's just a matter of time. Somebody said, Maiyegun, are you aware that we are supposed to declare, our leaders are supposed to declare Yoruba Nation this month? I said, no, I'm not aware. He said, because there's going to be a problem. I said, why? What's the problem? He said, the plan that they gave to them was that everything is sorted. All they have to do is just to bring out millions of people, take over the Third Mainland Bridge, take over the airport in Lagos, take over this or that and go, that stuff. And then, you know what I mean? That's it. But when they now called the leaders and said, what is delaying us? What is keeping us? You know what they said? They said, those they expected to help activate that, they betrayed. Do you understand that? They betrayed the plan. Okay? People were supposed to, again, I won't say much. So that got to me because that person was saying they are no longer going to listen to any leader anymore. They are going to go ahead and they are going to, you know what I mean? And I'm like, how to do that? Can you please be so sure that you have what it takes to pull that off? But this person was like, I just wanted you to know there's much going on right now and we want you to talk about it, Maiyegun. And I said, listen, whatever I say will go a very long way. And things have gotten this close that if I should begin the series on them, I will be the reason they will give to you why they couldn't declare Yoruba Nation. But nevertheless, the job of breaking up of Nigeria, something that gave you and I the courage, that kind of courage to say we deserve it and we should indeed fight for it. That period, which I believe somehow, especially if we toss the Yoruba Nation agitators, I'm going to say, number one, there is nobody. There's nobody currently that I know of. I'm a door. I'm like a door who see the inside and see the outside. Are you with me? Presently, who has that capacity in whatever form to tell you to gather anywhere that is coming to come and make a declaration? They have nothing like that. They have no plan of such. But again, because if I say something, automatically they have been waiting for this. Maybe he was going to say something so that we can, you know what I mean? We see, when I begin to talk about these guys, I'm going to speak with a lot of stuff I have in my hand. In a way, to let you know that even though as good as this, as much as valid as this is, we have been in a way bombarded by fraudsters manipulators, want chances, and so many on and all that. When I was saying that voice, I'll show you, I'll clear some. When I was saying some of these voices, which were like, probably like threats, they are not threats directed at me. They are threats of disappointment of people who are really ready. Really, really ready. Only to discover that they are mostly on their own. I'll share one with you. Just a sec. Let me see if this will be loud enough. Sorry if you don't understand Yoruba, okay?
lẹ́nu tí struggle yìí ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹlòmíì ohun tó ti fi owó ṣe ó ju ohun tí Sunday Igboho gangan ní lọ. Ẹ mú yẹn ní ẹ kọ́kọ́ mú yẹn lé nínú. Ẹlòmíì ti sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀dàrọ̀ ní gidi. Gbogbo àwọn agbára ìgbàanì àwọn agbára ti jẹ́ ẹlòmíì ti rí tó jẹ́ pọ́n jogún tí bàbá wọn kólẹ̀ fún wọn. Wọ́n ti lọ gbé dìde. Ẹ mọ ohun táwọn èèyàn ti ṣe kò tó ohun tí orúkọ ni Sunday Igboho gbé lórí orúkọ ló gbélé lórí. Ó yé nísìn orúkọ ni. Ẹ mú yẹn bẹ́ẹ̀ orúkọ ni. Àwọn ọmọ kan wà tó yẹ pé lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí tó yẹ pé ohun tí wọ́n ti fi owó dá lára pẹ̀lú oògùn kalẹ̀ Igboho gan ò lẹ́mìí wọn tó bá di wọ́n náà wọn ni Igboho máa sáré. Ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn lè kàn lára ó máa sáré tó bá ṣẹlẹ̀ pé wọ́n náà wọn. Ẹ má bínú kọ̀ọ̀kan ló jáde lójú ti tèmi ó ti di alábọ̀. Ṣé ẹ rí ohun tó bí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí tó fi dàbí ìgbà pé kò lè sọ̀rọ̀ Igboho gangan ò lè sọ̀rọ̀ mọ́. Agreement letter tó kọwọ́ sí ni wọ́n ti sọ fún oyè nísìn ó máa ní jíjáde tó jáde ní Benin Republic ó ní ọwọ́ àwọn ìjọba
ìṣẹ́jú kọ́
ìjọba wa ní Nàìjíríà yìí oyè nísìn ó ní ọwọ́ àwọn ìjọba Nàìjíríà ó lọ́wọ́ wọn nínú agreement letter ní gòkè o wọ́n máa free ẹ̀ but ó gbọ́dọ̀ so kò mọ bó ṣe fẹ́ fẹnu sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá mọ́ ni ẹ jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí mo sọ yìí mú ọ̀rọ̀ ẹ ó lè kàn lára kó wí tẹnu ẹ̀ fún aráyé ká gbọ́ ó yé nísìn kò mọ bó ṣe fẹ́ fẹnu sọ fún ọmọ Yorùbá mọ́ pé tó òun ti tọwọ́ bọ̀wé òun ti sáìn pé òun ò ní jìjàgbara lórí ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation kò mọ bó ṣe fẹ́ sọ kò mọ bí tó fẹ́ wá sí wọn bàbá Bánjí Akíntóyè kan ò tó bẹ́ẹ̀ wọn lè sọ.
Like I said, there's so much that could be shared. And Montessori, I'll quickly say this in Yoruba before we continue. Montessori for yín rí pé tí mo bá ní kí n sọ àwọn nǹkan tí mo mọ̀, ó máa discourage a lot of people. And that is not in any way good for the work tí àwọn èèyàn ti ṣe, especially àwọn èèyàn tó sọ pé ti ná owó ara wọn gan. There are people. Jẹ́jẹ́ mi mo jókòó mi o, ṣé mo jẹ́jẹ́ mi náà mo wà níbi tí mo wà yìí o. Kò kí ń ṣe essay and it is not blasphemy. Wọ́n ti sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wípé as in èmi ò mọ̀ until now tí gbogbo wa ń bí yẹn wọ́n ti ń sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wípé àwọn máa declare Yoruba nation ní November tá wà yìí. So don't take it personal. To bá take it personal, wàhálà lé ayé ẹnìyẹn o, kò kàn mí o, ṣó mọ̀. That's why mo fẹ́ sọ ní Yorùbá o. Ṣé kò jẹ́jẹ́ mi mo jókòó yìí náà tí gbogbo ẹ̀ wá bá mi náà, you know, and a lot of it tèmi fúnra mi mọ̀. But èmi ò mọ̀ eléyìí. So wọ́n ti fún wọn ní date. Pé wọ́n náà máa declare Yoruba nation ní November. Wọ́n ti fún wọn ní date. So àwọn kan ti believe ẹ̀. So wọ́n ti lọ ń prepare for real. Nílé. To you know, do all that and all that stuff. Wọ́n sọ fún àwọn èèyàn wa wípé ṣé mo pé ibi tí a ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní pé the first thing first, and láti wá bí a ṣe máa rí pé gbogbo àwọn ajínigbé apààyàn àwọn tó ń ṣoríṣiríṣi nílẹ̀ Yorùbá yẹn wípé bí a ṣe máa lé wọn okoko ìgbẹ́ tàdé sọ wípé tí ó bá ní nǹkan kan tí ó yẹ kí a ṣe òun ni kí a wá bí a ṣe máa ran àwọn tí wọ́n tiẹ̀ gbé orí jáde ní gbogbo àwọn abúlé yẹn gbogbo àwọn ìlú ìletò sí ìletò yẹn ṣe rántí. So àwọn kan wá ń wá wọn ní pé àwọn ò rí nǹkan kan ṣe ń gbọ́ báyìí sìn even though àwọn làwọn ń fi àyà fi iná ṣègbàṣàwò bọ̀ kò sí ìrànlọ́wọ́ kankan tẹ̀sẹ̀ tó tẹ̀ rántí àwọn ṣùgbọ́n wá sọ fún wọn wípé wọ́n máa declare ní ọjọ́ báyìí nínú oṣù táwa yìí ọjọ́ yẹn ti wá kọjá wàhálà ti wá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ already ìyẹn ló bí gbogbo eléyìí tó ń sọ yìí o ṣẹ́ńgẹ́sìn wàhálà tó wá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní wípé àwọn wá ń suspect wípé àwọn bàbá yẹn ń kọ́ wọn already láti declare anything pé ṣe ni wọ́n ń play àwọn. Do you get that? Because nígbà táwọn ń pè wọ́n pé kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí déètì yẹn wọ́n ní ṣe làwọn bàbá sọ pé àwọn táwọn fẹ́ jọ declare wọ́n ti betray àwọn ọmọ ní ṣe ẹ̀yin dẹ̀ believe bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn wípé a kàn máa jí a máa sùn àti wọ́n kàn máa wọ́n ní pé wọ́n ti sọ fún mi so ẹni yìí mo bẹ́ẹ̀ ni yìí sọ̀rọ̀ for like few times mo bá àwọn other people náà sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ believe bẹ́ẹ̀ wọ́n ní àwọn èèyàn believe bẹ́ẹ̀ pé in fact anybody tí ò bá ti believe is considered as enemy nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ó ti dé level yẹn èmi ò mọ̀ ó ìyẹn mo sọ pé ó dà pé time ti tó tí mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ tí mo bá dẹ̀ máa sọ̀rọ̀ pẹ̀tẹ̀pẹ̀tẹ̀ báyìí ni mo máa nà ní ọ̀pá ẹni tó bá tábà kó lọ tún bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe kó lọ tún ààyè ibẹ̀ ṣe ni nǹkan tí ń bàjẹ́ gan lábẹ́lẹ̀ o ẹ kàn deserve láti mọ̀ ni so thank you. However ẹ jẹ́ a continue. So something happened part of in the political space. We have us in Yoruba land asking for the independent sovereign Yoruba nation. For those who are genuinely asking for that, and for those who know the process and not just those, those loud mouth and loud heads on social media making all those empty noises and all that, looking for who they are going to engage and begin to build lies around and confuse some of you, their gullible listeners too. But that's that. But on the bigger picture, you have the Yorubas asking they want to leave. You have the Fulani terrorists, the Boko Haram, saying that they want land, they want to have their own caliphate up north all this while. Then you have the Biafrans who have genuinely been asking that they also want to leave. In their political space of profiling, I haven't seen anywhere where Tifnumbu is held down or cornered to defend the Yoruba nation agitators. Have you seen any? Or have you seen anywhere where Kwakwanso is being cornered to come and defend the Boko Haram, Kanuri Boko Haram terrorist? Or maybe Atifku, who is a Fulani? Have you seen anywhere where Atifku is being asked to come and answer questions about the Fulani terrorists in any way? I think I have seen that. But they didn't ask him to defend the terror. They just asked him what he felt about Autumn in Benue. However, they have been doing everything to link Obi, who is an Igbo man from Biafra, link him to IPOB, which is all right. But for the political class, they are not linking him as a praise. They are linking him as a reason why he can be president in Nigeria. And in many cases, they even call him representatives of the IPOB. In one of their interviews, right, with Kaderia, I think her name is Kaderia. You can listen to this.
So would you condemn ESN now for all the attacks we've
no,
seen?
I cannot
the
condemn because I'm not
and the
sure
deaths?
who is doing what. You can't just come and be condemning people until somebody says, hey, wait a minute, how can I go? Every day, let me tell you, people say all sorts of things. You can only condemn people when there's a process which have said, oh, this person has done this.
So you don't believe Nigerian security services when INEC offices are attacked, when people have been killed? The late Dora Akunyeli lost her husband, and they say it is ESN. You don't believe it?
Let me tell you, I personally, single-handedly, left Lagos without any single security, took first flight to Owerri, drove to Ogidi police station to retrieve the body of Chika Akunyele. Nobody did. I single-handedly, when I heard it, and everybody knows, I was the last person to visit Dora Akunyele, a hospital in India, before she died. I'm very close to Dora and the family. Everybody knows. So I can tell you what happened to Chika Akunyele. Nobody can say, is this person or that person? Chika Akunyele was just trying to drive back to Enugu, ran into people who were robbing and doing all sorts of things. A lot of things which nobody can explain. Even where he was trying to say, no, stop this, no, stop that, of course he was shocked. But you see, whenever things like that happen, people speculate all sorts of things and everything. Nigeria is where people just make up.
Because there is a research that has shown a direct correlation between the announcement of the formation.
There's no research.
There is research.
There is
research that has shown a correlation between the announcement of the formation of ESN, some of the utterances of Nnamdi Kalu about take their guns, shoot their guns, and the spike in violence. People are saying, if a witch is crying at night and you wake up in the morning, a baby has died.
I'll continue that. Sorry, I was reading the comments as well while I was watching that with you. Somebody said that, no, Maiyegun is not an agitator, and you should all know that, okay? So back in Shewere, you would never, in fact, put me in that basket or in that bracket. You should know that. And then the second thing is that somebody felt like I should be mature, that some voice note from somewhere. Do you really think I am actually talking because of a voice note? Like, are you for real? That voice note or whatever is said in there, is just to tell you of how many of that they are sending to themselves already. Do you get that now? In the name of this Yoruba nation, December 31st. If by December 31st, some are saying that if by December 31st, Yoruba nation doesn't come, what does that tell you? Does that not tell you that eventually, the whole thing is going to explode right before our eyes, whether Maiyegun says something or not? Do you really think Maiyegun is somebody who needs a voice note from somebody to tell you the truth that you need to know? So if I tell you I know these guys, I do know them. I just didn't know that they have taken things ridiculously this far, even though I suspected same. But again, you know me, I never claimed to be a saint. But if you have anything against me that you can prove, I will advise you to begin to put them together now. Do you get that now? Because I'm going to do a series on them. And I'm not going to tell you what I know based on any voice note or what have you. I've spoken to all of them. I have spoken to many of them. Do you get that now? So if I tell you something about them, there are going to be things that you either haven't heard anywhere before or things you actually know yourselves that you believe that I shouldn't say. But for the sake of our people that they are deceiving and the rest of them, that is why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. But listen, it's not about voice note or whatever. The voice note is just the little of what they are saying to themselves. Honestly speaking, if you actually feel, if you're going to be so emotional or whatever about it, you better get ready. It is Maiyegun. And I'm saying this to all of them too. They better start getting ready to start cooking whatever they're going to cook. Normally, we should wait for them to explode. But sometimes we might do it before then. Whatever it is, I will come with my own receipts. But listen to this other part because there's something I want to say about that.
If you could tell me what your unique selling point is.
tell Nigerians in a nutshell. Announcement of the formation of ESN, some of the utterances of Nnamdi Kanu about take their guns, shoot their guns, and the spike in violence. People are saying if a witch is crying at night and you wake,
you are not seeing it. It doesn't. It's see, when you want to change the society, because majority of the people, including yourself, live off the old order. They don't see the future. That's why they say leader must be a visionary.
I think I missed the other part, right? He was talking about the witch. Peter Obi was defending the lies that we all know. He's a politician. I have said it many times on this platform that Nigerian government have spent billions over time just to sell the propaganda that unknown gunmen are sponsored by the IPOB or ESN. The pure propaganda that they've not been able to prove. I've said that many times. The politicians from Eastern Nigeria know this. If you want to say IPOB is violent, how do you show that you kidnapped their leader? They didn't protest to destroy anything or fight or cause any riot. They didn't do anything. They decided to sit at home. Every day you take their leader to court. That is a shocker to what they expected. I said that on this platform, that if they say they encountered unknown gunmen, why is it that the unknown gunmen, whenever they are operating, there's no, despite the fact that Eastern Nigeria is so militarized, police, DSS, military, soldiers everywhere. How come that whenever the unknown gunmen, whenever they were operating, there's never been any counterattack from anywhere? Only when they are gone, then they begin to arrest innocent people that they can't even take to court. I've said that many times. I've proved that to you many times. Now, Obi is there now saying that there is no proof, which is true. There is no proof that any member of IPOB is caught with any weapons of crime as they are presented. I'm sorry, as they are presenting rather, which is the truth. However, it is still all boils down to your profiling politics, your tribal ethnic profiling politics, which Nigeria represents. Again, I'm not playing that for you because of his response. I am playing that for you because of the question of the anchor, Kadiria, who directed the question of insecurity in Eastern Nigeria just 2 days ago. Fulani terrorists, they killed over 10 people in a community in Enugu. Now, that is done by them. And Atiku is never going to be asked that what is his view on the insecurity caused by the Fulani terrorists in southern Nigeria and all that stuff. They won't direct that question like that. So it's not what Obi responded as. It is the question itself. Listen to it again.
So would you condemn ESN now for all the attacks we've seen?
No, I cannot condemn because I'm not sure who is doing what. You can't just come and be condemning people until somebody says, hey, wait a minute, how can I go? Every day, let me tell you, people say all sorts of things. You can only condemn people when there's a process which have said, oh, this person has done this.
So you don't believe Nigerian security services when INEC offices are attacked, when people have been killed? The late Dora Akunyili lost her husband, and they say it is ESN. You don't believe it?
Let me tell you, I personally, single-handedly, left Lagos without anything.
Armed robbers, unknown gunmen, or armed terrorists in Eastern Nigeria by the politicians in Eastern Nigeria killed the husband of Dora Akunyili, and they killed other people too in that operation as well. But the Nigerian media quickly published Akunyili's husband assassinated. I remember that day. Late Dr. Dora Akunyili's husband, Dr. Akunyili, has been assassinated. And one of the children of the Akunyilis, I think, or a family or a relative or something, quickly posted on social media, hey, IPOB have killed my dad. And that's exactly what the Nigerian media ran. No investigation, no arrest, no nothing, and that's it. all because they are asking for a legitimate referendum that will decide if they want to be part of Nigeria any further or not. But yet, they are set up to be murdered and be killed. Just a few, should I say last week or so, there was a problem in Otta. That problem happened to be, the community, they were having their masquerade festival, okay? Now, masquerade festival could be sometimes a little bit rowdy and violent sometimes, okay? However, they said that two soldiers, right? They walked past or walked into the procession around that place. And in a way, it led to some level of fisticuffs and all that. And they grabbed one of their guns. So when the soldiers left, right, they went on to call their other colleagues and they came in their truck. By the time they came back, the Yoruba Nation campaigners, they were also walking by in their own, doing their own procession, passing by. That was the moment the soldiers came. Do you know something? The soldiers told them that it was those who are doing the masquerade festival. And that's exactly who they went for. In the process, the whole crowd, fine. When their media will report, they said Nigerian soldiers clashed with Yoruba Nation agitators, and the Yoruba Nation agitators grabbed guns. That is called setup. That's how they set you up. And that's exactly what they plotted and set up in the eastern part of Nigeria. And I kept screaming and said, sometimes some of us don't know the power of what we have. You see, this social media is so powerful. Sometimes you can get so carried away with what you have. But it's so powerful. Our word carries so much weight. Do you know why the Nigerian government dread Nnamdi Kanu so much? It's because of the platform he has and the number of listeners who could do anything they want them to do. But Nnamdi Kanu, being smart, calculated, and then courageous enough, right? Continue to taunt the political class in Nigeria, especially in Eastern Nigeria and all over Nigeria. He continued to taunt them with what he is capable of doing. But for now, he is not doing. And he quickly pushed them into that panic mode. Look at how much mistake they've made. Look at how much crimes they've committed. And yet, they've told you a lot of stories about this Nnamdi Kanu who hasn't even commanded just one single command from what they believe he controls or he has. Do you understand that now? So social media and all these platforms, they are so powerful. And then if we want to, by any means, make any kind of pronouncement or declaration, right? We must realize that we are dealing with lunatics, right? Who actually keep power or in power or keeping Nigeria one because they were able to kill millions and millions of people for years now, for over 6 decades. So they are not in any way new to murdering us and killing us. So if we want to do it, we should show some level of readiness. So you know what they are saying? They are looking for something to begin to hunt and kill our own young people too. Now, what are we going to do? They're going to turn us to that rebel that they've always been willing. They've been pushing and pushing the Biafrans to pick up the guns and fight them so that they can complete what they didn't finish in 1970. And they could do this, kill as many as possible. But if you feed into them without being ready, then that calls for concern in a way. That's why I mentioned what I mentioned earlier. However, I said something about Show earlier that I caught him having a chat where the usual media trying to set you up on the nonsense questions. It's not the question. It is not the answer you give. It is actually the intention of asking that question. Look at this one from Abati. Just listen if you have the time.
Your major disadvantage in this election is your radicalism, your idealism. Yeah, that's the word he used. And, I'm tempted to agree with him. In July, when you declared your assets on Twitter, you were declaring some ancient Samsung Galaxy Note 10 as an asset, an iPhone, a 2-bedroom bungalow. Who considers a Samsung Galaxy 10 an asset by today's standards? And then you have refused to go and visit those persons that Dele Momodu calls the owners of Nigeria. You have not gone to Mina. You have not gone to Abeokuta. You are not paying homage to anybody, and you want to be president. Then you are talking about legalizing marijuana, and then you want to close down police barracks. These are clearly unorthodox views. What do you say to that characterization by Kikanda?
Well, let me thank Gimba for such a well-written prose on myself. You know, I agree with him that I don't know how to genuflect on the altars of fallen gods. If you wake up in Nigeria and you look at your environment, you look at your roads, your hospitals, your schools that are closed down, a level of high institutions, children that are wandering the streets, and the only thing you can do is to head to Mina or Abeokuta or wherever these so-called owners of Nigeria are, who, by the way, should be in prison, some of them, then something is wrong with you. I cannot fathom why a presidential candidate or a politician will go in the direction of people who destroy the country when they are claiming that you want to reclaim the country. And that's been my position. And I don't want to waste my time pleading with them, knowing that so many of them don't even add any political value to the country. They just erect, a shrine somewhere where people come and worship them. And they are the ones sometimes who go out and say, hey, tell Shewore to come and visit me. Tell this person to come and visit me. What we're saying, if the Nigerian people actually need to own their country, we have to travel in a different direction. You were talking about my Galaxy phone as something.
Man, anyway, there is more. It's going to add to it, okay? And I'm going to take calls. Let's take calls, okay? I'm going to take calls after this. And you're going to come and tell me. Somebody just told us there now that they have declared Yoruba Nation on the 28th of November. So does that mean that we already... Okay, it said that an interim government has been formed. So who is the president of Yoruba Nation in the interim? And then where is the headquarters in Yoruba land right now? Now, I would love you to call in, We go out to waiting. I go still come here and present later. Because, again, yeah, I want to hear from you. But Shewore, answering his questions from this Abati. Interesting.
Nigerian people actually need to own their country. We have to travel in a different direction. You were talking about my Galaxy phone as something that is not an asset. It's because you are used to people who steal and have huge assets that they did not work for. I work for my own Galaxy phone, an iPhone that is about ₦1 million. You cannot claim that it's not an asset. You can't claim that a bicycle is not an asset. Any asset that you can use for even financial transactions. If I want to borrow money from you and you are not sure that I'll pay you back, you can ask me to drop my iPhone. So it becomes an asset in that regard because I can use it for a collateral. But it's also to let you know that you don't have to own half of Nigeria to be happy or to be a good person. And that's why I'm glad I declared my asset within 10 minutes after I saw on Twitter that Sarah was requesting for presidential candidates to declare their asset. The other candidates, since 3 months that I declared mine, haven't been able to declare their assets because some of them don't even know where their assets are located, and they can never compile their assets. And it's time for Nigerians, as I keep saying, to stop voting for people who are greedy and look in the direction of those who are in need. That shows to you that my 51 years on earth, I've never stolen anybody's property. I've never tried to own what doesn't belong to me. But that did not make me a lesser human being than those who own half of Nigeria, private jets, who have money hidden in tax havens, because they are not happier than me. Instead, they are carrying the burden of depriving the citizens of Nigeria their own entitlements. And this will not continue forever. You brought up the issue of marijuana again. The last time I was discussing this 4 years ago, people were making fun of me on your show that, oh, you're talking about marijuana. But marijuana has become good now. The Ondo State governor traveled to Malaysia to try and set up a marijuana business in Ondo State, my state. When I saw him at the hotel, I said, why are you going to Malaysia? You're wasting money. Ask me in 5 minutes, I'll tell you how to refine marijuana. Canada is making over $4 billion annually from legalizing marijuana. Because marijuana is not just what makes people high, it's medicinal. You know,
it's called medical vegetable. That's what Tifnumbu call it, medical vegetables. Anyway, Kehinde Joseph Kashimawo, you are actually the one I've been reading. Are you reading yourself? I mean, are you reading what you are typing? Do you really think that's how dumb the Yorubas are with what you just typed now? Mrs. Something Something told you that they are declaring Yoruba nation partially. This type of declaration is for everybody to listen see Is this what you tell yourselves? Mrs. Something Something said, Mr. Something Something said to Yoruba people, educated, enlightened, exposed Yoruba people. You actually type that and you are reading that. Okay. I'll come back and take calls. If you can call in and explain that to us without sounding stupid, I would love that. Kashimawo, grab your phone now, okay? And come and explain to you what Mrs. Onitiri told you, okay? I'll be back. Let me go make my tea. The line will be opened, and I'll take some calls. Don't go anywhere. Now I have a caller already. Hello there. You can hear me now.
Hello, Maiyegun.
Hamid, how are you?
I do raw enjoyment now.
But I just stay here, or still kind of.
You know, I was expecting you was going to pick calls when you came back from London. Because
Go on.
You know, ever since Tifnumbu come on board, you know, so you don't hit very hard. So you don't see we never enter London. As you go in now you can't go enter London. So definitely, you know, see the Abobakus they did wait for you.
But they are not really aggressive. It's just that say for this place, because they couldn't afford to be aggressive.
They don't do anything now.
Yeah, they're just shouting like, Maiyegun, no, hold on, Maiyegun, let me talk. I said, if I want, I will listen to them like this for like about 10 minutes. Ahmed, I will be like this. Okay. Everything they are saying, then I'll be like, okay, can I talk? They'll say, yeah, talk. And I'll be like, you know something,
the moment
right?
you say one thing,
then they go just go over me again. I know if you talk, but yeah.
they'll just change them. Now the problem, you see, they don't have real thing, anything to say. They will always want to talk over you because to make sure after that conversation, they'll be like, Shebi, amu corner, asoro to kolisoro. Jeki also, jeko fun fact. The same way that you don't listen. You know, in this life, it's not as if there is something like you always watch. You understand? If you watch more, you don't need to speak a lot.
Yes.
When you watch more and focus,
like you listen more.
You listen more. You watch more. You listen more.
It's a very tough thing. I'm telling you. But you know one thing. When I was working for Sky, and I was trained as a customer service advisor at the top level, Baba, or more, listening to people became something like a skill. Not be everybody they listen to people, but if you have that capacity to listen.
Not everyone has the patience, and exactly in Kotofa to Nigeria today, everybody the people in government continue to do what they do because they know that the people they are talking to, what everybody already last go, what come assume. So to them, easy when Tinubu come and Bulaba, Baba Blue, Laba, Gugwe, they will want to come and tell you what it meant.
He's trying to say.
Because they don't understand. And they cannot understand. And these people understand the game. That is why they keep on confusing them with different kind of words.
Speaking the language they understand, which is actually no language at all. Confusion.
No language. Confusion. And Toba Oja Tife boss. They will insert money into it. They will use money to clear everything. So now money and word of confusion, now they use for people for that Nigeria. Money, word of confusion. So they know say if they speak something, they say, Omo, what I talk will make sense. They go use money, cover them. He will always say, Dama, he been fire.
Defend, yeah.
You go just cry, you don't collect. So you can't do your work. That's why we have people like Team. They will definitely come and do their work because they are hungry. You know, they are hungry. And I've seen someone on comment section was saying, Maiyegun, if you don't believe on this, why are you talking about? See,
if I don't believe in what? Sorry,
if you are listening,
believe in what?
He said, if you don't believe in what the voice note, why are you playing it? I want to explain on my own part.
I believe it 100%. No. See, I believe everything they have there because I know the characters behind some of the ones I have. So, but I am not relying in what they have to say. This guy should relax. Amedo. Series Lori or Yoruba Nation. Do you understand me now? Because it was so important.
I have watched.
So anybody to feel concerned, to feel worried, hold your advice to yourself. I won't need it. If you have anything against Maiyegun, anything on Maiyegun, share you get me now. This is your opportunity. Ojelo camera phone, colora phone, to camera. Something because every character that you see out there, the money compromise on. I have compromise on every one of them with the evidence of it, and it's going to come out. So Ahmed, go on. And don't mind those comments, okay? Don't worry. They are going to have to come around.
No. I'm just reading it because that is why I said someone has to listen more.
Yeah.
To understand. Your mind is somewhere else.
I know.
Me, Timbani interest loading call.
Yep.
I used to sit down, give all my attention. I will study that thing. I will listen to it word for word. Then I will pick what I want to pick and drop the rest.
That's right.
That way you will not lose focus. But you're on the chat. They are trying to give you something. They are trying to give you something. You are not even, parabale, goro. You are just typing rubbish, typing nonsense, talking trash. Come on, man. We know all of you. We know all of you.
We do.
And all of you doing these things. Because it will not take us anywhere. It's like we are shooting ourselves by ourselves. We are killing ourselves by ourselves.
Let me tell you
and
the
after
easy
you
line.
go out there, you go and shout.
Ahmed, let me tell you the easy line. I personally know that the moment I start saying something now, Trust me. Everywhere will vibrate, you know that. But I'm doing it simply because these guys have done so much damages to the psyche of the people who have so much belief and they have so much faith that Yoruba nation must come, and they are investing their time, their money on this platform, including myself. We have put our money in supporting those we believe that are being persecuted for asking for Yoruba nation. Sure, you get now. Now, when we discover how fraudulent some of them are and how much damages this have done to the psyche of this, because the number has reduced, let's be honest. Do you understand me now? And I'll tell people why.
Yeah.
So if anybody now feels like what I'm going to say is a lie, don't make up story. Just, you know what I mean? Like, just come and confront me. Don't lie. Just come on. Because everything I'm going to say about your leaders, everything about them, including money, I'm going to back them with evidence. Yeah, Ahmed.
All these things that if you are bold enough to type, you should be bold enough to call. I have never, ever since I've been on Maiyegun,
a bunch of cowards. You don't have that liver.
Ever since I've been watching you, Maiyegun, I have never watched anyone who wants to come out like except one guy like that, Philip.
That one go let me. Ahmed Magbo now.
What I mean be say any toshi be onjade ko succeed. So if you know you have tangible things to say, because when we listen to that Philip, so we know where all of you stand. But if you know you have very strong reason, you know what
you
to
pick
talk
up
about.
the phone and call and say, Maiyegun, I have the right information. Don't just type.
Why
You're
are
a bunch of cowards. You need to see this guy in real life.
All of us that are here, we are here to learn and we want to listen to you. You might know what we don't know. Just call in.
Do you know what happened, Ahmed? Let me say this as well. That's part of the series I'm going to talk about, okay? I saw Irodio Tomo one lower, but because they have no plan, they are about to explode. Sure, you get that now. And this is not because of us. It's because of the people they have been speaking to. Some of them don't type Ahmed. There are people who have been listening to them. You have no idea. People. You do have no idea how much brainwashing. You have no idea. To listen to Ahmed, you will never believe it. They believe one, don't believe one. Lori Yoruba nation. I'm going to say something.
Maiyegun, listen to almost every platform. I have been there. Sometimes I will just go agent or
yeah.
It's not as if I have my own belief. I know what can happen with my own kind of experience. I know what can happen and what cannot happen.
Rubbish anyway. So
if any command or really I will just pass. I could just watch it. I won't watch it. Because from nonsense sometimes it pick sense. So there are some things if you talk, I just come. But no be waiting the talk gongo, I can't listen to. You just get one or two things that are complete. So Maiyegun, no, just continue.
Yeah,
if you are bold enough, please. So I'm begging you, please. Pick your phone and call in. Yeah.
Make I tell you something. In the next couple of days, you're going to see some of this ragtag illiterate, okay? Some of this, half-baked morons. They're going to start, because they are looking for who to blame. Why this is not happening.
To blame? Yeah.
Tell you, you're going to hear things like that Maiyegun, I know, you know that stuff, because they have run out of all the lies they've been telling people, and it's so sad. It is so sad.
And someone typed on there and he said, "How many times will Maiyegun tell you? See, MaiyegunDiary, Politico. We talk about politics and the happening in Nigeria that have caused you to be agitating, asking for your own nation. That is what we discuss about. And problem. If you don't know the real source of how do you resolve it?
Ahmed, there can be another call. Don't worry about them. You have to wait till the time I'm going to begin the series. The best thing everybody should be preparing for, in my own opinion, what everybody should be preparing for is to prepare to counter whatever Maiyegun is going to say. I'm not going to say things that make up. I'm going to mention names.
Call in. We are waiting. Call in.
So you see, there's no pressure. You know what I mean now? The damages have been done, but we will damage them too. in this case. Okay, thank you very much, Baba.
If you are bold enough, call in.
Just call in.
Bold
and
enough,
call in and talk to me. Yeah. Hello there.
Hello, my good channel.
The Prince Judgeman.
Baba, who the hell?
How are you?
Baba, I'm fine.
I am so sorry that we ended up missing each other that day. It all happened so fast. I couldn't wait to get back home. I'm sorry, but there's going to be another time, won't it?
Yeah. It's all right, Baba. I know you're always a busy person.
It's
so
such a mess,
no complaint.
Anyway,
no complaint.
the Prince, you are live.
Thank you, Baba. Thank you so much. Baba, I want to thank you once more for being Maiyegun. You understand?
I've always been Maiyegun.
For being Maiyegun. You know, they said that something that Agbalagba is sitting down to see if Omode is standing up, even jumping up, he will not see it.
Well, do you really believe that anymore? The Prince.
Hey. Yeah. I believe that somehow.
You are a prince,
I believe that somehow.
I believe you if you say you believe. Go on.
You know why I'm saying that? Because you are a man of great insight. You're a young man, but you have the knowledge of an old man. You get what I'm saying? That's why everybody listens to you. You understand? Both the old and young, they come to your channel.
Yes.
Not because of your age, but because of the wisdom of an old man that is in you. Okay.
But and also, it is not because I'm always right, but because I'm always sincere. I speak from the position of sincerity, and then I am always ready to be corrected. So somehow, I'm not the saint, and at the same time, I don't belong to the filth that some of these things are flunging around as well. You know what I mean? I don't belong there. That's why I'm Maiyegun.
Yeah, nice one. Nice one. Thank you for the the series you say you're gonna do. We are hoping will happen, because a lot has happened.
A lot.
And
you know one thing, Prince. You know one thing, Prince.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
They seems to have bullied a lot of people into silence. Do you know how many people who are like just waiting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out before they can say, yeah, I can now talk? There are many people who are waiting for a period whereby they can say, now, I can now speak my mind too about Yoruba nation. I'm going to lead that charge. And then I'm going to ask you to please call me out if I'm wrong on anything I say. Because when I start, oh dear.
No, it's good. It's good. I believe you are going to do justice on it because you have been patient for long, I believe. And that is good. Yes, because you are Maiyegun, you have been patient and you have been watching and you have been listening.
Some said I have been matured, but I have been burning inside watching some of these guys commit some of these things. And you just feel like, something that people actually labored for, something that people died for, something that people are in jail for. Some of you are now turning that into a kind of a clownish stuff because you have social media. We'll see our part. It doesn't mean that they will change. Or maybe we can change one of those gullible people who listen to them. Some of them are watching me too, sadly.
Yeah, that would be a great one because we too we had that challenge in our Biafra movement too.
I know about that.
You understand? It's just of recent our great lawyer came out to make a speech. I said, for he goes to Nnamdi Kanu every week to hear from him. You see, and they speak and they interact every day. And this person is a person that they attack his house, burn his house down.
I know about even that. They killed his driver, they burned down his house, and they declared him wanted for defending Nnamdi Kanu.
Thank you. Exactly. So these are the person they still have people are still attacking him because they've attacked all sides and they are failed. And they see that the legal angle is making progress now. They want to now distract them. you know. And he came out and he made
the same legal team that on this platform we pull our resources together and contributed 2 million naira to say, please get him out if you can. Do it as soon as possible.
Honestly,
is it not on this platform?
I
mean, all these things people are sacrificing
honestly,
here and there, right?
I want to again. I want
this whole thing. They are taking chances. They are taking place.
Honestly, people have died, Maiyegun, you know, for our freedom, you know, and the people can be having a merchandise of what we are doing. It's a serious matter. You know, I want to use this opportunity to thank you and thank everyone on this platform again for the 2 million naira support of legal team of Nnamdi Kanu. You know,
so
that
much,
money
the members of the Brethren, of the Temple of Truth. We did that. And that's not the only thing we did. Even you, Prince, right here, if you count your fingers, you can count more and more people who benefited from our own intervention fund on this platform. We go name names and we go name those who also share that money behind the scenes. So, the Prince, finish your message.
I want to thank you so much because Biafrans are listening and the Oduduwas are listening. You understand? That support, you know, the leadership of Biafra. You know, they got that money and they were very grateful and they
still
were
have the email confirmation. IPOB London. I still have their email thanking us on MaiyegunSDiary Politico in my email right here. So we'll get to that stage too. Go on.
That's very good. IPOB London received that money and they get to the leadership and
they delivered it.
The DOS they receive it and they acknowledge it. So we am so very very grateful, you know, for this great temple of truth. You know what you have done. Even on my own musical movement. Even
your
this
own musical revolution, your own way of revolutionizing and also, Baba.
Honestly, this platform supported me with up to the tune of 400 pounds, which is not a small money. You understand?
We raised that on this platform too.
And they did it because of this liberation of Oduduwa nation and Biafra nation.
Yes.
That's why, not because I'm so special or anything, you know. So my brother, I thank you so much. I don't have to talk much. I just want to thank you for being focused.
You know, and I will remember. Thank you so much as well for all the support.
Jidekiji, Baba. If you say Jidekiji means you are doing well.
Jidekiji.
You know,
I'll remember that. And thank you very much, the Prince. Let me take another call.
You,
a quick one, Thank you.
Yeah.
I have another caller on the line. Here we go. Sir Akinola, is that you?
That's me. Maiyegun.
How are you, sir?
Nice to be on with you today. It's been
a pleasure.
Long
it's been
time.
A while.
It's been a while. I'm going to be very short. There are just 2 observations I'd like to make.
Quickly, sir.
Today, when I woke up, I was listening to all these Yoruba people indicating that they are going to be making declaration before the end of the year. And I was like, really? Is that how it's done? Somebody will just wake up from his house and now declare that we now have Yoruba nation. It doesn't sound...
Sakinola, you see, hang on, no. You see, it's beyond that they said they would do it. People actually believed it. People were told that they should go and become human shield on 3rd Mainland Bridge on a certain day. That the moment the Nigerian army starts shooting and killing them, some of the Yorubas who are in the army and the police, they will begin to defend them and fight back and start killing Nigerian soldiers. Do you know people actually believed them? They were so disappointed when Baba didn't show up. They started sending messages. Baba, I don't want to go deeper yet, but please, go.
When I listened to it, and I was like, are these people taking people for granted? Are we all stupid in this country? in essence. I know they say they'll be writing letter here, they'll be writing. What's the push for the referendum, which is what we have all been asking for, that we need referendum so that we can have our own separate country. So some people are just going to, without any legal backing, are going to gather up and just...
They've told them they don't need it. You get
they
that
just
now?
make
That they are just going to
declaration.
declare it on a certain day, and millions of the people will just march out. Then they said they are disappointed because the people didn't turn up. Now, somebody is telling me now that it's already done, that we are already Yoruba nation. It started, yesterday or 2 days ago. Like Baba Mokawe now. I'm not daft now. So how could somebody say that to my face? To understand, like somebody say that to my face. Tell you, then she weary. And he's not telling me that if I don't believe in it, that's my own problem. So mad, is this kind of a joke?
This is making mockery of
it's making mockery of the whole thing. That's what I'm saying. If people are not seeing it from my own angle, I will let them see it from my angle soon when I begin the series on it. Then you get to know these guys better.
So where is their constitution? Who is their president? Who is I don't understand. So I thought
you won't believe it. They said they have started the government in exile, interim government in exile. So there is a government for Yoruba land already now, somewhere. Like Baba.
That sounds like another
like for real? Really?
Some people should just retire and go home. All these old people.
Right.
Put an end to all this nonsense and allow the people that can act reasonably to step up and start to lead this fight to set our people free. That is my first observation. The second observation is on Maiyegun, which I believe all the youth supposed to be supporting. You say you are
we agree now, Sakionla. We said, apart from individuals who feel so, on this platform, MaiyegunsDiary Politico, we treat more than 200 issues, mostly bordering on human rights abuses, and the corruption and policies of those in charge of Nigeria and how they affect us. We said, if all of us really want to be honest, Showore sounded more original. But we know with what Nigeria is, it will remain a pipe-born dream for him to be the president of Nigeria. So if you get a chance to go, they tell them, but for us, we see all of that as a waste of time and a charade. But you are saying something about him now. Go on.
How do we, the youth, justify supporting somebody who will go to IBB, go to Obasanjo for endorsement? How?
Ask them.
And you say yourself that, Obi has done that, Tinubu has done that, and I'm sure Atiku has even said that there is no Yoruba, there is no Igbo. I am the northern candidate, I am a northerner, vote for me. That's what Atiku has said. So invariably, other tribe, other people do not exist in Atiku world. And then some people are saying they are obedient. Obi will go and meet IBP, will go and meet Obasanjo.
The same people who created the Nigerian problem, you're visiting them for wisdom. Share wine, Wani.
Which type of wisdom? Which type of wisdom? And to now make it a lot of thought on injury. The day they announced that they probably might release him, a lot of these same people who want new Nigeria. I say, it's a political ploy to stop Obi from being president. How is Kanu being in prison?
Did you remember that time, sir? Did you see how every one of them shouting that Buhari is a tyrant? They said, court said they should release Nnamdi Kanu. Everybody just turned to say Nnamdi Kanu must not be released. So because of who? Because of Obi. Baba, mo shock.
It shocked me too, I must say. So the reality is that we need to start working on our side. We at times we can continue to blame. Of course, I believe Bubu. That's what I usually call him, Buhari. Mr. Bubu has perpetrated his Fulani agenda more than enough, in essence. But then, when we extend it further, look at what Wike was saying this week. How much money Buhari has released to the state.
A lot of money.
And in order, keep getting this money and pocketing it, and the people are not feeling anything. So the reality,
people are more interested in that. You know what? The northern Nigeria is the reason why we are unable to develop the southern Nigeria. Okay, let us break up. No, we cannot break up Nigeria. Nigeria must be great. Because you see, our people are conditioned to see what they want them to see, react to what they want them to react to, and that's why it's so difficult, for somebody like Showore to appeal to them. But what it is just same old, sir. Same old, same old.
Just to get on that point, I saw that they were showing that they have found 1 billion barrels in Bauchi and I work for oil. I work for oil and gas industry.
Yeah.
You know, if you find, even if it is true that the 1 billion barrels, who will go and invest where it was going to cost you maybe $100 to get the barrel out?
See, that is where Una they mix them up. Sakiola, I love the fact that you work in the oil industry. You can tell us how much it takes. And in fact, we have been told that whatever you invest in a newly discovered oil rig, by the time you do all you have to do, Baba, they say that you are likely going to lose half of your investment to start with. Or the longer exploration will eventually probably recoup it for you. It's not a profitable business these days, Abi. But that is if it's a business. That people hang on now. Hang on, sir. Like that is if it's a business. Nigeria is ready to use Nigerian name and borrow money to build whatever it's going to cost there. Forget the loss, forget the profit, because it's not for profit. Trust me.
There's one thing we call wealth pressure.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure here, understanding, is very, very low. So in which case you are going to spend a lot of money to push this thing out of the soil. In essence, you will see that none of the major companies will be ready to go and say we're looking for an oil field in Gombe or Bauchi. So if Nigeria use political oil field, then it's going to be another subsidy whereby we'll make money from Delta Bayelsa, and we're going to be using that money to push oil in Bauchi. The money that we're putting oil feed that is going to be run at loss.
At loss, 100% at loss. But you know what? Nigeria can always cover the loss, and Nigeria can continue to live poor. That's the future. That's the future.
The borehole pressure that I've seen in this area is very low. So they will have to do what is called enhanced oil recovery, in which case they are going to use designer fluid to push this oil out. And it costs a lot of money. This is why a lot of people don't do it, in essence. So, and with all these carriers that were all these camps that they are being presented to Nigeria, it's just so annoying that you see all these bunch of people parading themselves as if everybody is, we are all fool. We don't know we're stupid. We don't know what is going on. So for people, I would just encourage, don't be discouraged with what all these people are doing in respect to Yoruba nation. Don't be discouraged.
You can't.
They are, of course, listening to them, you can be. So what kind of nonsense is this? Let the real people differentiate themselves and continue with the agitation. Or to do a republic now or never.
God bless
you. But at the end of the day, it's not going to be somebody sleeping somewhere who is going to announce in the sitting room and say, now you now have to.
That's what we are trying to tell our people. And possibly we can stop them from saying that. That is causing more sort of damages than whatever they are plotting against us. When you raise people's hope, and you dash the hope to the point that if you have to rebuild such hope again, you may never get it back. And I have received enough complaints already. That's why I actually even mentioned it. Maybe today then start to share you get. But this last 48 hours, people were asking me questions that I was wondering, where did you get that from? I mean, did you believe that? And they were angry and raging. They want answers. But the people who told them this, they are nowhere to be found. Rather, once they see them, they give them another lie. And it seems that shit is about to hit the fan. Honestly speaking, what they have in mind is even worse. Or go on, Sir AK. Let me take another call.
You need to, you will need to do a session.
I have
all
to.
Those guys
and that's why I said that it is not about trying to fight anybody. If I say something that you know is not factual, the best you can do, you can even reach out to me and say, Maiyegun, that your broadcast last night, everything you said there, there are some things you said, they are not true. I want to come and confront you so that I can put the correct, but make sure that you are not going to face me by just blabbing in front of me. You must come here with something solid to debunk whatever I say, because I'm not going to say something that I don't have evidence of. Do you understand? Therefore, if you are going to defend them, just make sure that you have something concrete to counter that. But when I start, I won't finish until they are gone. Thank you so much, Saike. Here we go. Another caller here. Hello there.
Hello.
Oh, hello there. Hello, ma'am.
Maiyegun,
Hey, Sister Jumi, how are you?
I'm good, though.
Are you?
Anyway,
you don't sound like you are good. You sounded like you're
I'm
upset. You want to say something? I could smell it.
I'm very, very. I'm just.
Now tell me how you feel. What's going on?
Well, two things. Please. Number one, concerning them discovering gas or no gas in the north.
Right.
I don't know whether it's a good news for them or it's a bad news for them. Whatever it is right now, but it's not. They're announcing it for the whole Nigerians to hear right now. So they have known this longer than this, way back.
Possibly,
and that is why they are. Yes, and that is why they're on the rampage to exhaust and make sure that it's finished, if possible, in their own little mind, thinking they want to exhaust, the oil
before they
bankrupt Nigeria. Exactly, and if possible, finish all the oil in the oil region area and leave them without nothing. And then they have coupled with the fact that they have already. Exactly. Coupled with the fact that they have deposited a lot of gas somewhere in the north for themselves.
Yes.
Yes. You remember one guy like that, one Arab guy like that about 2-3 years ago, that made a proclamation that said that if Nigerians know what the Northerners are planning for them with Arab countries, that they will wake up. As a matter of fact, they have run pipes to Sudan, to different places, to Niger, and all those things, and they have built, different reservoirs to deposit all those oil. Exactly, so that when they unleash, and if anything happens, they can have something to fall to. So that is it. So that is number one. So I wanted to say something about that.
You just pointed out a very critical one out of the whole conversation. Something I never did point out. Timing. They decided to announce it now, and at the same time, prepare the mind of their people that listen. There's something to fall back onto. So don't worry.
Exactly. Exactly. With all the money they have taken. With everything they have taken, you understand? The business, everything. They have, Northerners have practically taken over everything that has to do with Nigerians. Yes. That is it. So that is number one. Number two,
yes, ma'am.
Concerning the declaration of the Oduduwa or Yoruba nation.
Please, ma'am.
You know what? I've been smelling a lot of rats for a long time.
Don't tell me that somehow you are in the WhatsApp group of where they are always forwarding all these things. Tell me more.
I don't even, for some reason, I only belong to one single group.
Right.
Because I don't, and most of the time it's just like I just scan through and then delete whatever it is. Because number one, I don't like somebody just typing me for nothing or saying rubbish, and they fight. They tell themselves how they poop yesterday, how the next things. So I'm not for that, my brother. Life is not all. Life is too short.
Ma.
Yeah.
So why are we making it so hard for ourselves by cutting trouble unnecessarily? So I agree with you. Life is short.
Exactly. So
tell me what you heard. You wanted to tell me what you heard in the rant. Tell me.
Yeah, this issue of declaration or no declaration.
Yeah.
Things that suddenly popped up within these few months. Things that suddenly popped up within these few months past that, I'm in the control. I'm now the one that knows it better. I have the connection. I have the power and all those things. It is me. This is where I'm working their own separately. I'm working my own separately and all those things. I'm beginning to just get fed up and begin to doubt, begin to look at it. Where is the possibility? I know it's as politicians. I judge these things. No, do we have enemies in the house? Are we confused? What is going on?
See, Sister Jumi,
okay,
Sister Jumi, one of the bobo that they are likely going to tell people is that politicians are giving some people money to do this or that. Sure, you get. That's actually a secondary thing. Oh. Again, make I no be spoiler. I would rather we all wait till when I begin to remove the cloth in front of the masquerade. It's deeper than how many of you actually see it.
Why do we wait for you?
You should please
we
wait.
Believe you. We'll wait for you.
We'll get to that. It's sad though, because a lot of people want me. See, a lot of people. I didn't know that some people made, apart from this crowdfunding things that we say and all that, here and there, fine. A lot of people have invested in that. I didn't know that there are people who actually invested personal money because of what they are personally told by these guys. This is beyond, this is now outside what you see publicly. This is like me calling you, Sister Jumi, how are you, ma? She was okay. Sister Jumi, Siri, you know, I know you love Yoruba Nation so well, okay? There's something I want to discuss with you. And you know, you somehow respect me. Maiyegun, okay, tell me. And I begin to wrap you up. Somehow, I made you commit thousands of your own euros, right? Only to figure out later that they were actually going into private pockets. Somebody spending the money. How would you feel? I have a lot of stuff, Sister Jumi, don't let us spoil it yet, okay? It's small.
It's okay. We'll wait. Yeah, we'll wait. I don't. My prayer for you, my prayer for you all the time is that God should just help us so that you maintain your boldness and then keep going on the tour. You know,
that is why this is also a challenge for me. By the way, to all of you watching me, thinking that Maiyegun, see, nobody do that. I don't challenge myself. I'm saying this to them, ma. It's also a challenge for me that Maiyegun, that big mouth Maiyegun. Now we can fact check him. But one thing is, by the time I start talking, the only people that can fact check me are the people I will mention their names, not their vuvuzelas, not people who lick their asses, or those who have no idea of what's going on. You get what I mean? But the purpose is not to target individuals. It is just to tell you the role and the roles each person is playing or has played to whatever we are currently experiencing in this whole movement. You get that now? Now it is now left to every one of us to go and verify them. And if anybody has anything contrary that says he's a lie, he's lying, all you have to do is just drag that person I mentioned and say, go to MaiyegunsDiary, go and face him and tell him that he lied. Don't do any video anywhere. Just go and face him there. We'll get to that stage, Jumi. Thank you so much.
As I always say, my own dear, keep your big mouth.
I will.
We are watching you. God bless you.
And you too, ma. Thank you so much and stay safe. So that's Sister Jumi there. I've got another caller. Hello, sir.
Hello, Maiyegun.
How are you?
Sorry, MG as usual. First of all, let me say thank God, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
For everything you have been doing so far. I sent something on your WhatsApp.
Okay.
I received my naked wine on the 19th.
I'm gonna go check.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
you did.
On the 19th,
I found it. See, that's a picture.
Yeah. So yeah.
From naked wine. That's class. Yeah. I mean, you didn't tell me if you're a wine person, so I don't know if I should ask you that. How does that? I mean, how did this taste? Because I don't like wine. Was it good?
Yeah, I tasted one of it. I even put it there.
Right.
And I tasted one of it, and then I've been sipping it about a glass every day, and it makes me sleep like a baby.
Tell me about it. I like that. That's what I wanted to hear, because I know if I didn't give that away, it's just going to
exactly that one.
Forever.
Yeah, it's 12. It's 12 in the pack.
Irony.
It's 12 in the pack. Yeah. Yes, I choose a red wine.
Varieties and all that.
Exactly. So but the rest I put it away like an Ijebu man so that nobody will come in and try to drink it with me.
Oh, yeah, go for it, sir. Go for it. I mean, I love that.
Okay.
See, telling me this, right, actually makes me feel good. Honestly, you know why? I've had that voucher here for more than 5 months. Okay, and I've always been like, you know, when we had Leila's naming ceremony, we bought so much drinks in excess that even in my cupboard there, I still have packs of beer, Stella toys, and the rest. Here you get. I still have a bottle of vodka, bottle of wines, and then there's so many other drinks like that they're just there, like I'm just packing them, like I'm packing rubbish inside the cupboard, moving them here and there, putting things on them. So realizing that that voucher actually gave you a taste of what I would love to have if I was a wine person makes me feel good, sir. Personally, thank you very much for following it through.
Well,
so yeah, today's business.
Well, anyway, those drinks, if you don't need it, I can give you my postcode address. Then you can just send them over to me.
No, you pay on delivery. So if you are ready to pay on delivery, if we can make that arrangement, of course I can pack that. Come on, man. Now drink. Baba, but work something. So how are you?
Yeah, because I'm celebrating my birthday next year, April 8th, or 60 years old. So I'm going to invite some of my friends. Though I don't look 60, but I look like a 40-something because I'm just like you. My mind,
if you invite
definitely.
Me over, I can pack some drinks in my car and drive down. So that would be my own gift. I'll just be like, sir, go and check the books. You know what I mean? So yeah. However,
Maiyegun, you are a very busy man. I don't want to put that pressure on you.
I could do
and I'm going to be so selfish to grab you away from millions of people who are getting from you. I am telling you that I am one of those people that gain a lot of things from you. And sincerely speaking, my heart, my mind have been liberated for the past 3 years. I've been listening to you.
Thank you.
And then I can, even when I lost my daughter, at that time, I was always listening to you every 2 days. And it gave me some kind of, despite all these things in Nigeria, I was able to go, my mind settled, somehow laugh a little bit and all this stuff.
A relaxing period spent with Maiyegun that takes your mind away from your loss and from your grief. I appreciate that for saying that too, sir.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that
it's a sort of a therapy. Yeah. Maiyegun, going forward, you see, people because I'm a Yoruba man. And I've been thinking about Yoruba for many years, even since Ogunde was singing Yoruba Ronu, because I have seen us as intellectuals. We are naturally blessed. God Almighty blessed us with what they call wisdom, and the spirit of going forward, and
the spirit of discernment, the spirit of forward thinking, and the spirit of most importantly, humanity. We are so caring as a people.
Exactly.
Our emotion is easily exploited, and that's exactly what we have suffered over time.
Exactly. Because I could remember when I was at Ondo State, because I'm from Ekale. You see these people they call Hausas. We live together, we treat them like, and then I don't know where all this thing, that is why, but how these people came all about, now they now say they are our leader, we have to take order from them. The whole thing just looks somehow. And our people who sold their birthright, are the people, I think like what I keep saying, I think I said it on your channel the other time, that it seems these people, God just allowed them maybe to come and punish, they allow them to come to Nigeria and start destroying things. They are agents of devil. Because Nigeria in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, though in the 60s or in the 70s, I was still a young boy going to primary school. But things are, all of a sudden, the whole thing just turned like a tide, like a wild wind. And
it never looked back since then. It never returned back to where it was again. It just
I used to remember when I was living in Igboshire, Lagos Island, because I went to Igboshire community, municipal primary school at Okesuna in Lagos there. And then in Agbole, Tomanpe, Face Me, I Face You, where about 20 ni Inule, Hausa Wambe, Igbo Wambe, what they call this thing? Christian, Musulumi, Babalawo, Koseton Shodun, Nigbayen, we will always be there, and we eat from this, and this love is just there. Yeah? If my uncle did not have a shake, Loba Amino, maybe Loba Amino, this and that, and then but all of a sudden this thing changed. Anyway, to not to go too deep into that, I have been expecting this Yoruba nation, and I'm praying towards it every day. And then these people, Tari, Tonsokwe, they are there. Atiku, àwọn local, Emilule, Jide, and all those stuff. The only person who see autonomy, Louis, let's don't deceive ourselves. Who see anything so yeah, even in Nigeria, the way I work for 2 months and 20 days, ọmọ tó wà nínú oyún, tó wà nínú ikùn, tó bá bí lè ní wọ́n máa parọ́ ni. Because they have been so corrupted, my brother. You don't want to. Anyway, let me just leave that. Sherry, we pray for Yoruba nation to come. Our people don't come sorrow because what is Jedudo? They have all these people. They have. Want to queen Nigeria. See around. Lonely portion to so they will not let it go. Obasanjo has his own portion. Buhari has his own portion. Abdulsalam have his own portion. So what to divide by clan? And when you look at them, they recycle themselves. They just keep recycling themselves. Omo Oluma the governor Lola, Omo Oluma the senator, Omo Oluma the representative. So they always remain at the helms of affairs that nobody can touch them. And whatever they might have stolen, whatever they might have looted, whatever crime they might have committed, nobody can come and ask them any question. That is that. Sherry, Baba Akintoye, I was listening to Baba Akintoye on the Ghana radio, Yoruba Ghana radio, about 2 days ago, about this Yoruba coming, this Yoruba nation. And Baba was the declaration. The man was asking him, Baba, ìgbà wo ni ṣe November yìí ni àbí bàbá ní pé ó máa tó December before December ending. That's what Akintoye was saying. And the man repeated that question about 3 times. So, and because people, they just listen, they don't meditate. They don't people, they don't comprehend things. And the way I see things, people, when you are telling me something now, already I've made up my mind. I've been thinking for you. How can I be thinking for you? Or you are thinking for me. How can you be thinking? How do you know when I say, hello, Maiyegun, how I know what you wanted to say? How do you know what I wanted to say? How can you just, yeah. You don't know. So that is that. And these journalists, the way they ask questions, they ask a technical journalistic question, and it's one-sided. The question they will ask Shure, I was listening to that guy when he was asking Shure that technical question. Yes. Your phone is this thing and all those stuff.
Samsung phone, assets.
Yeah. Yeah. But why can't he ask Atiku how because Atiku is a nurse. before he became God called Marisheli Papa Wolf, custom officer. Bibolo tiri owo, ṣé salary ló lè yẹ kó lọ ra ilé sí Dubai ni? Or ṣé salary ló fi ń ra ilé sí America ló ra ilé sí London káàkiri ni? Tí Tinubu ń kọ́ bolo tiri owó tó fi ń ra gbogbo kíní wọ̀nyí. You see, so that is just that. Shure, I said it the other time. He came at the wrong time. He's a good guy with a good heart, but he's in the midst of a vulture, hyenas,
jackass,
predators, the jackass. They are ready to tear him apart. It's just that he has a very big heart, and I love him for that. So, and at the same time, with this Yoruba nation and Biafra nation, it will come to pass.
It will. I mean, it's obvious it's going to happen. Everybody should know that is going to happen, whether you support it or you don't support it. Listen, the owners of Nigeria, they have wrecked Nigeria. They have bankrupted Nigeria. What you are witnessing in Nigeria today has never been witnessed before. What is waiting to happen is just a little spark of if we have people who are milking it, misleading our people, turning our people in a way into extremists that will likely shock many of us in the coming weeks, okay? Where people are going to show their frustration. In their own way, Baba, they are even saying they're going to show their frustration by going rogue in order to ruin the name of Baba Akintoye, ruin the name of all these people because they have betrayed them. And that's why this series is so necessary. We need to stop the miseducation. We need to stop the misleading. It is getting out of hand. But we'll see.
Yeah, because a lot of fingers have been pointing at this, that there's not gonna be election come 2023. I am one of those people that believe in it. I am an optimistic person, and I believe because the spirit of discernment, like what you said the other time. Sometimes you look at a situation. All of a sudden, something happened. There's something they call critical thinking.
That's right.
And critical look. You look at that thing. How you first of all go to before you can get a solution. You first of all go, what happened? You understand the problem. How does it come? Okay, how does it get here? Or how am I going to prevent it? You know, these are the way forward. But some people, the people who call themselves educated illiterates or educated maggots, like the way I can see them, because they are rubbish. They just think for you. They just say, and that is, you see these people, they know what they were doing. Yeah, these people are the helms of affairs. They know what they are doing by trying to create disunity between Yoruba and Igbo. They know that if we work together as one, there's power in unity. There's no way they can go. So don't let me bore you too much because a lot of other people are coming in.
No,
so
you're my last caller because of our time has really gone. We've spent 3 hours already. However, thank you very much for stopping by. For now, I'm not because you see, like I said before, we all want something to work out here. Okay, my own concern personally is that which we have displayed on this platform many times, all of us, is that even though we may not know what they have there, they want to do, or if any of them is being persecuted simply because of the belief and standing up for Yoruba nation, we came through for them. We did come through just to let them know that, listen, we so much believe in what you are doing. But at the same time, we are not stupid. We're not foolish. And at the same time, we question everything you have to say. But when we begin to see manipulated things being shared, lies, and we know that all of these are going to further damage the opportunities that we could possibly have, and all the successes that we have also achieved with this cheap pronouncement, then something needed to be done. Because somehow I have people whose everyday prayer, like you said, is that they want to witness the Yoruba nation in their lifetime.
I want to, because I want to go back home.
Do you get that?
I want to go back home.
And there are people, there are people, sir, there are people who knows that you actually mean that, and they are milking you, and they want to manipulate you for it, and that is wrong. Before it becomes something too long, we have to do that. So for now, not that I'm going to actually open it tomorrow or day after, I'm not going to even be provoked to do it. You get that now? You can't provoke me. The point there is that I have a window where I know they are going to finally outlie themselves and outplay themselves. But the damage is that this is expected to cause for this Yoruba nation, advocacy, to prevent all of that. That's why we have to do that series. People need to know. Then they can decide whatever they like afterward. This is not about what you do. What you should do is your right to know if these guys are who they say they are. You have the right to know. And that is why nobody can continue to use your own your belief that something you are so passionate about, and they use that as your vulnerability. So again, sir, when the time comes, I'm going to announce it. And when I'm going to announce it, it's going to be boldly written. It's about them. And then everybody can get ready and bring out their own, they can go bring out their own guns and start shooting and firing. But then, I will warn them ahead of time. I will tell you when, and all of you will be ready for it. Sir, tonight, I'm going to be back here tomorrow by the grace of God. And then we will continue based on whatever is going on at the time. So you have a good evening from here.
Thank you so much for the naked one, Maiyegun.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
I will send my address.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So, yes, this is where we're going to draw the curtains, okay? I don't do competitions. I don't do me versus this. I'm just like a teacher, right? You might not agree with me. You may not even agree with my style. Over time, I have warned people that if you want to listen to Maiyegun, please listen with that open mind. If you belong to the categories of people who love it to be, I belong here, I belong there, I belong there, I belong there, then you can bring whatever the best you've got on Maiyegun. Because when I open the cans, I won't stop. I won't. And when I'm done, I'm done. The whole thing afterward is left to every one of us, or whatever we choose to do. So thank you so much. If you're just joining us, you can watch this from the beginning, if that's okay. If you have been with us all night, don't leave without liking the broadcast. Just like, share, and possibly subscribe if you want. And next time, I'm going to see you. And when I see you next time, it's going to be another interesting one. So good night from here.
Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Maiyegun já wa sí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Maiyegun máa wí. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Maiyegun Diary Politico. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Maiyegun. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgbọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní Maiyegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Maiyegun Diary Nayibi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rà kì í. Maiyegun ti dé. Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí Facebook.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Lórí YouTube.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Wọ́n bàbá gbé wúrẹ́.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ijó ìgbádìyẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Pẹ̀sìdó bá rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Kí gómìnà kówó jẹ.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Ọlọ́pàá tí ń darí bá.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú.
Maiyegun máa wí.
Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì. Àní ẹ̀ súnra kì.
Maiyegun ti dé.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀. Maiyegun ó sọ pé wọ́n ò fẹ́ bẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní má ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré, ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o, ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣàyè tú wọn síta.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Maiyegun ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́hún ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sì mọ́ bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́, ó ti dọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ fòyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lápàrà o, ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Maiyegun ti dé. Gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe, ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.